Represento las calles de mi tierra, mi bandera, ay, mi bandera, Puerto Rico y todos los latinos, sonamos con...
I'm Tom Hannafin from TNA Wrestling. You're watching the Jedi Sports Network.
You're watching Jedi Sports Network with Kev.
Mike.
What is going on? Salute everybody. Welcome to Sports Jedi Network. We are live here with Latinos and Wrestling Voices. Hope everyone's going well. Welcome to the main event of the week as we go to this weekend Wrestling Report Roundup, of course, with your guys, BX Sports Jedi Kev and PGA Chris. Before we get going here, before we hit those ropes, quick shout out to the ones that keep the fuel fresh and clean. Of course, we're powered by Dude Wipes. Dude Wipes keeping you fresh and clean outside the ring and keeping you strong. And of course, let's go to the sharpest mind in the wrestling business. PGA Chris, good afternoon. ¿Cómo está, mi hermano?
Yeah, I'm good, man. We had a good pay-per-view last night. We had a good decent week in wrestling, I'd say. Saw a little bit of the highlights of SmackDown. Raw was okay. It wasn't that bad of a week. We're gonna talk all about it. We're getting closer to WrestleMania every single week, and we're getting close to that predictions episode that we like to do for WrestleMania. So I'm excited to talk about that in a couple weeks. But we got something to do right here. So it's every Saturday, Kev. You know what that means.
That's right. It's la semana completa de lucha libre. We're going to speak some lucha libre because that's what we are. We are Latinos with Wrestling Voices. And Chris, I want to start off with something that happened last night that is pretty much having the IWC having these conversations and speaking with TNA Sacrifice. Do you want to start the main event or you want to start the whole card?
Go to the main event.
Let's go right to the main event. And of course, the main event had a lot of conversation in it whether you want to criticize it, not criticize it. I'm going to give you this is footage courtesy of TNA Wrestling and Claro Sports. That here it is.
Esa dolió hasta el alma y por eso es que Macklin está molesto. Viene la patada. Responde ahora Macklin sobre las cuerdas. Puede venir la combinación. A vivir, Fer. La patada super kick. Y mira cómo.
And of course, you see the super kick heard around the world there where the match was shut off, stopped, come to a halt. Right decision there at the moment. It sucked because they were having a wonderful PLE card on a Friday night where it was a lot of great stuff going on, and it just came to a halt, Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to really add with this other than shit happens. I mean, it's pro wrestling. I don't really think we need to have this conversation. You guys are all here because you guys are wrestling fans, so you guys know that. Don't let this determine the rest of the card, rest of the show. I understand that this is the marquee matchup that people want to see, especially if you're in the audience. I think you have the right to feel not upset. I think the word is disappointed. I think you have every right, but you don't have any right to go blaming people. It's not Santana, Steve Macklin, the ref. It happened. Santana gave him a real kick. He looked visibly upset that he did that. He knows that he did that. These guys are professionals. Stuff happens. Again, they started off hot. I was enjoying that sequence. I didn't even know Steve Macklin was down, because I just thought, like, seriously hurt, because I just thought, he got down with the kick, refs checking, and then Santana went for the punch. So when Santana went for the punch and the referee like held him back, then I was like, oh, like, let's whatever the bell. I didn't see the X thrown up till I saw the clip after. So, but yeah, it's unfortunate, because I think these guys have done a hell of a job building up their match. They did a good job of trying to make sense of Steve Macklin coming back to fight Santana after he got fired from the Feast and Fired briefcase. But I don't know what else to add other than it stuff happens, guys. It's nobody's fault. We're disappointed we didn't see the match either, but there's nothing you can do. There really isn't a situation like this. It's nothing you could do. It would have been worse if they just would have gone off the way they did. At least, I know Tommy Dreamer, Eddie, go out there. Eddie, go out there. And, they did that. But again, hopefully we see the match. I saw something that John Alba said, which he's credible because he's aligned with Matt Hardy and all that. Said that it's nothing serious, doesn't have any serious concussions. So that's good. But again, it's nobody's fault. That's just the best way I could put it.
No, when I was watching the clip there was a hard start with some live rounds where they were going in with the forearm shots. The part of the super kick that connected with Steve Macklin did not put his hands up. Normally, a lot of times, and this is a little bit of insider from when I noticed in the super kick spots, Chris. Normally, the wrestler puts his hands up and the super kick hits the hand where you can hear it. You could hear it. Yeah, the hands go up and one hand goes up, but it was such a quick transition off the ropes there that the ropes actually were the catalyst to kind of to take Steve Macklin's momentum into Santana's super kick. It was a live round that escaped on Santana's leg, and it just things happen. Look, it's a combat sport. Regardless, at the end of the day, pro wrestling, regardless if it's scripted, if you want to say predetermined, whatever the narratives you want to say, it's still a live combat sport, regardless of the fact. There's injuries that happens, career-defining, career-changing injuries. Hopefully for Steve Macklin, this is something that's going to prolong and linger with him in his wrestling career. Great job. I gotta give the flowers of the MVP of the professional wrestling business, not just in TNA, all across of the wrestling industry. And of course, it's the person that officiates the ring, the one and only Alice Lane. She did a phenomenal job there. And taking the guts, the determination, the discernment to stop that match for main event purposes on a live PLE. They don't do a lot of live because, of course, they do pre-taped but to have the goals and that great the discernment, I have to make a stop for the safety of the talent in the ring. She did a phenomenal job. I cannot thank her, appreciate her, give her flowers, Chris.
Yeah, I don't know who she is, but she obviously is whoever taught her, whoever she was under, whoever's learning tree she's under, they taught her very well. Not too many referees, I think, in that situation would have thought that quickly and all that stuff. So she obviously had the good communication with whatever she has in her ear. Obviously had good communication between Macklin and Santana. Again, she did not let that punch be thrown by Santana, which is crucial, because I don't even think Santana realized anything was wrong, because he did the super kick and then went to go taunting the crowd, like, like he didn't realize he was in the moment. So, yeah, good for you. Nailed it on the head, man. She did what she was supposed to do. Good for her.
Yeah, and look, and I like the fact that they sent Eddie Edwards out there. They kept the storyline with continuity. Steve Macklin's compromise, of course, that you great set with the ringside doctor, as well as the Carlos Silva jumping in and having and have that communication. Mm-hmm. The response team of TNA shows, they're not no LOL. Their safety, their love for their talents and their family. It's a family atmosphere, and they did a great decision there. And the communication, split second discernment, decision making by everyone on board, even Eddie Edwards. This is why I want to harp to where we hear a lot of the young talents, they're not paying attention to the matches. They're going onto their phones. They're playing video games. They're leaving the arena. This is a good reason to show why you keep the talent around. Respect everyone's matches. Stay for the main event, because you never know when you're going to need to make an audible and get put into call of action. Great job there, Eddie Edwards, as a veteran, a leader for TNA, being at the gorilla position or being somewhere around to say, go, go, go for an audible. Great job there. Again, that shows when everyone's invested in your company. Now, and not everyone's in their own business for themselves. That's all for one for all, and it showed there last night for TNA. I want to give that a great compliment to the whole staff of TNA Wrestling, because Eddie Edwards could have been easily, we know he's a father. I'm pretty sure his daughter came along with Alicia, and they could have been doing something else, getting ready to leave, getting ready to go back to the hotel, get something to eat, take care of the young one, or vice versa. No, he was there in Gorilla. You needed that audible, boom, in the blink of an eye, he was there. Chris, I don't know how much more praise I could give them.
Yeah, I agree. They did what they were supposed to do. You see a lot of the indie companies recently in the news for shit like this going wrong. So, they're a professional company, so they know what they're doing. So again, I heard that nothing was serious from John Alba right before I joined here to go live. So I think he's all right.
That's good for Macklin. I'm pretty sure, a little scare moment for his wife, Deanna Peraza. She wasn't in attendance.
I didn't even know she was wrestling.
Yeah, so that's a scary. Just imagine the news, of your spouse, because I believe he went to the hospital. He just was cleared in backstage and laid down, and they actually took him for some tests, from MRIs and tests, and went to the local medical facility, like Vince McMahon likes to say, to the hospital, and he was clear. So good job there, getting the right medical attention. And for Steve Macklin, this feud with Mike Santana is going to be there. No rush. Make sure you get clear. Get the cobwebs off. They could get this back in there.
They're gonna do really good out of it. Now Steve Macklin could say, "Yo, you gave me a shot." Like now he has a more reason. It's a blessing, and obviously we don't want this to happen. Don't think that way. But this is gonna elevate their story now.
You know what? Right, you get correctly. They're more money. There's going to be more. They're going to make more money in this business with that storyline angle line. What you shot a live round. And even Santana complained to it. I told you te iba a partir la madre. Santana said it. Te iba a partir la madre. I was going to beat. I was going to go out there and. Yeah, you're right, Chris. Now, and it's a good thing though, because it kind of pushes Eddie Edwards a little more back. It's okay, because I know you mentioned this on the live watch along where we had Eddie Edwards taking on Moose, where it was a no contest, which is a little bit of a black eye because no one knew that the main event was going to be a no contest. You did a no contest with Moose and Eddie Edwards. No one knew the future. If I knew the future, I would have the lotto, and we'll be in a live studios with my money, and if I hit the lotto and so forth. But and also, if my aunt had balls, she'll be my uncle. So wishful thinking. So Chris. The system, now it's a blessing in disguise, because you could still go back with Moose, Eddie Edwards, with a stipulation and a cage, no countdown, no DQ. They could even do a gimmick match of any sorts with that. It's a blessing in disguise. I hate to say that, but it kind of seems like it.
Well, my thing is, like, I feel like they would push Eddie Edwards quicker, because who's going to be Santana's feud going into Rebellion?
Yeah, it's a 2-week build. Yeah, you're right.
It's not that long. So, and that's one of their big four. That's what I'm saying. Do they go with Eddie, or do they just now have to do instead of Nick Nemeth calling his shot in a random spot or whatever, he calls the shot for the match in his hometown? I feel like one of those two has to happen. Now, I think now Eddie Edwards is going to have a world championship match quicker because of this.
Now, because if Nick Nemeth does call his shot, he seems babyface. I don't know if they want to start switching him babyface. It's been out there with the May 2nd match with Maxwell Jacob Freeman, your AEW World Champion at Creator Pro Wrestling. Could it be that they're trying to make him like a baby face since he's going to take on MJF, and he's going to do the honorable thing, call his shot in Cleveland at Rebellion against Mike Santana, because maybe they want Mike Santana for, I don't know. I don't want to see Mike Santana go heel, but from that shot at Macklin, could it be a reversal of character?
With Nick Nemeth, I don't know if they will pull. I don't know. That's a good question. I think he is most likely. I hate to say it, but he's most likely going to walk out of Rebellion, the TNA World Champion.
I think so.
I just don't know how they're going to do it. I think they can have Eddie Edwards and Mike Santana at Rebellion and have, the heel way to do it. But I don't know. I feel like that's what they're gonna have to do now, because the way that TNA went off the air last night with Santana putting him to the table, I think now they're gonna have to run that match. So, I think that's gonna happen. I think Nick Nemeth's gonna probably cash in, because I don't know when that battle or that battle club
May 2nd. May 2nd.
I hope that for multiple reasons Nick Nemeth doesn't win that championship. But I feel like it's going to happen. Multiple reasons. One, I don't want to watch another Mike Santana chase. I'm sick of it. I've watched it 3 times. I've been there for one. Don't want to. I'm just not invested to him chasing. I'm more invested to him if he could leave his hometown as champion. And I think Nick, I hope they don't feed into we got to have TNA champion versus AEW champion at a fucking indie show.
I'm afraid of that, because it makes good business for Brian Myers' school. That's the only thing that has me skeptical.
Who's Brian Myers to the company? I wouldn't be surprised if he's one of the guys that's not technically contracted, but he's there all the time. How important is this guy to your company if you're letting this happen? So you could be right, but at the same time, I'm thinking as an outsider, obviously I don't know what they got going on inside, their business between Mike Myers and TNA, or Brian Myers, excuse me, and TNA. But I'm just thinking, why? Like, obviously I don't know the answer to that, but why is Brian Myers' school all of a sudden the new dude? ACW has more fucking traction with all your TNA wrestlers than that. That's where all the AEW, the Statlanders, the MJFs, the Acclaimed, that's where they all come from. Why are you feeding into that? Why are you going to let Nick Nemeth? I hope they don't do that. That's not the main reason. Really, the main reason is I don't want to watch Santana chase again. But
no, that's why I'm a little skeptical, because it's going to be in Cleveland, Rebellion. They have themselves a parachute to make the storyline work well. It doesn't matter who Mike Santana wrestles at Rebellion, if it's Eddie Edwards or even Steve Macklin, but I don't think Macklin's going to get cleared. If he goes with it, let's go with Eddie Edwards. Macklin could come in, interfere after match, beat up Santana, and here comes Ziggler or aka Nemeth to cash in and come and leave your TNA World Champion. They have a way of taking the title off of Mike Santana if they want to at Rebellion with the gold call your shot with Steve Macklin. Even if he's not clear to wrestle, but if he's clear to do a run-in for a moment, he's not quite there, but they could do a run-in where he could use a weapon. You're ready to go, and you could. And again, I because maybe we're again cautions. We are very uber Mike Santana fans, but like Chris says, I'm not interested in seeing Mike Santana coming in as challenger to the UBS Arena for Slammiversary a second time. I don't think you get that same hype and traction from the people that the Puerto Rican contingents that went to see him. I think I think what we need as and I'm not speaking for everyone of Puerto Rican descent, but as us as Boricuas, we would like to see Mike as the champion coming in and leaving as champion, defending that title and coming in prideful. We want to see Mike Santana on a float at the Puerto Rican Day Parade with the TNA World title.
Exactly. The same way Priest got to do it.
Yes. if Mike gives up the title at Rebellion, I see a feud with Steve no longer relevant. Oh,
That's a good
you know
point.
what? That's a good
That's a
point.
good point.
That's a very good point.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. That's a huge good point because what does that do for that there as well? Maybe Nemeth we're just fantasy booking. Maybe Nemeth tries to cash in and Macklin actually stops the cash in and you're like, what the hell? Because he wants the title himself, where you could prolong that at Slammiversary. Mike Santana, because Macklin is a East Rutherford, New Jersey guy. He's from Mike Santana from Bronx, New York. You have a couple of New Yorkers at Slammiversary main eventing your biggest show. Let's face it, Slammiversary is the bigger show. I want to cut the bullshit with Bound for Glory and Slammiversary. We were in the UB Arena. Slammiversary was the bigger show than Bound for Glory last year. I don't care because the Dudleys were in it. When people leave your main event and leave, and there's empty seats on that picture shot of Mike holding the world title and the Puerto Rican flag, compared to Slammiversary, that nobody left the freaking arena. There was 7,000 plus still in the arena after Santana lost and he got on the microphone to speak. That wasn't aired on TNA Plus app. Slammiversary is the biggest show, Chris.
Last year, Slammiversary was the biggest show. Bound for Glory is still their WrestleMania, but the bigger show last year was Slammiversary. I think people last year still get caught up in, and for a little bit myself, I just wanted to see how Bound for Glory flowed before I compare the two, because Bound for Glory still has the main or the Hall of Fame. There still are big matches that have taken place in the history of Bound for Glory.
I'm gonna do the LeBron James meme.
Right.
Hall of Fame.
Right. But they do the Hall of Fame, so they think, just throughout the history. I mean, Bound for Glory has always been my favorite. So, but if you're looking at last year specifically, you cannot tell me that Slammiversary was not the bigger show. Slammiversary got the most media, got the most just hype around it. I mean, dude, we were barely, not that saying because of us. How do I explain it? We felt it. Where were the fucking interviews? Where was the media around this pay-per-view? It wasn't there. And then when you do, they have all these guys going Ariel, people like him promote the show, and they did a great job of doing Slammiversary. Not that they didn't do a bad job with Bound for Glory. It's that Lowell, Massachusetts isn't a bigger draw than the UBS Arena.
No, not nowhere near it. Look, it was so hot that John Albright even had a female escort with him at the arena at Slammiversary.
Yeah, dude, everybody was there.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody was there. I guarantee, it's Then
Charlie all over the place.
Charlie, West Side Gun, all these people, man. And dude, the matches were better, bro. And I'm sick of Bully Ray going on Busted Open every fucking Tuesday and saying, he said this last Tuesday. He was like, the reason why, whatever, I could have main evented Bound for Glory.
Oh, I heard that.
I wanted Trick and Santana because of the story. But I wanted to go because they were talking about match placement. He was like, I wanted to go, but I don't want to go first or whatever. So yeah. But Slammiversary was the bigger show this year, no question. Not because
Slammiversary was the greatest show. Let's talk about some Sacrifice. And I see we got Chris Denver in the building. What's going up, Chris Denver? We got Alien Night Owl in the building. We got Universal. Salute to you, man. And of course, Millennial Knob. And salute, guys, in the chat. Keep your chats going. Keep the conversation hot and on fire with us here. And of course, salute to everybody on X and everyone watching us on Rumba, Instagram Live. We got Marie Shadows in the building. Salute to you, Marie Shadows. Everyone on the Rumble app. Appreciate you guys. Let's talk about this, man. Ryan Nemeth in the opening countdown, getting the victory on BDE. It's just more reps for BDE. Ryan Nemeth, I think he's going to have a big year here in 2026 by the end of the year, Chris.
Yeah, no, I agree. It wasn't a bad pre-show match.
No, the pre-show was really good because you had Tessa taking on Jody Threat, and of course back and forth. We know the numbers games when it comes to Tessa and the Diamond Club. There, you had good to see Marley Grace and Harley Hudson alongside. Just something set up just for Tessa to look strong. You know, I Tessa at the end of the match, taking the cable around Jody Threat's neck, setting up. You know what Tessa really is, a heel, one of the heel knockouts that you mess with her, you're gonna get burned. Pretty much as simple.
Future champion. I'm waiting for it.
I think a lot of us, it's time. I think it's time to start putting that strap on Tessa for the Knockouts division. And she needs to, and I said this, she needs to go on a 365-day plus run as Knockouts champion until you build your next uber babyface Knockouts that's going to carry the Knockouts division, the face of the women's Knockouts division for years. And right now, that current lady is not on the TNA roster. I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest with you. None of those ladies seems right now or have descended to be the face of the Knockouts as a baby face. So the best one, you create an obstacle, a heat magnet in Tessa. And I think they should put the strap on Tessa and let her soar and carry that women's division as she can. Like it or not, if you don't like what she said outside the ring or all that stuff, but they're paid. The reason why they pay her is for if she could entertain you in the ring. If she could entertain you in the ring and she's a talent, you're paying to see her. You're not paying for what her thoughts are, who she's sleeping with, and all that other stuff. The same thing goes with Ricochet. Unfortunately, we're paying for his talent. Where we want you could support it or not, that's up to you. You know, that's the way I'm viewing it in 2026. I'm going to call it as that. I got to keep it fair for all the talents. I just can't pick and choose. Or I'm not going to get behind so and so. And that's the bottom line when it comes to that one. Opening contest. You know what? The X Division champion Leon Slater, Eric Young. What a hot start for the PLE for TNA last night Sacrifice. I love the decoy from Leon Slater, putting that person that looks like him, you know, and Eric Young going after him and Leon Slater just catching him. Good matched up there. I'm actually surprised that Leon Slater defeated Eric Young. I thought Eric Young with the cleanse and stuff like that was to get the victory, but Leon, man, a real solid victory for Leon Slater. I mean, he just, when is it we said we had a bad, uninspiring or unperforming match from Leon Slater?
No, I don't really think we did. I like I said, I always talk about, and I said this to Tom Hannafin, I enjoyed his match with Nemeth. I liked his match with Moveset Slam. He's really good. No, that match with Eric Young was good. I like Eric Young. I think he needs an international title run. I don't see him beating Leon to become the X Division champion. Didn't see him winning it yesterday. But he continues to look good. I like that power. Only went for that power driver outside of the ring and the steps. I thought he was gonna nail him with it. But again, Leon, he's great. Don't know how much time he has left in TNA. But he's gonna continue to have good matches. I want to maybe see him go against Santana. Maybe that would require him to lose the X Division championship. But if they could figure out somebody and something to do for Leon and ally himself, whatever, I think that they could make that work, and I think they could have Leon and Santana. I would say maybe towards the end of Leon's contract or whatever he is signed with, whatever, and then they can kind of make that his send off type of thing. But no, Leon's great. He does his style of wrestling very, very well. And he's like 20. He's a really young dude. So if he's not your cup of coffee now, if there are some certain things that you see wrong with the kid, he has a lot of time to fix them. So
the kid is 21 years old, Chris. And look at this, right, Alan Night Owl, perfect. He sells so well. He registers and sells his moves. His matches, he could go with any veteran, and when they're telling a story, he follows it. Yes. But the thing is, he's doing the high flying maneuvers as well, which is crazy, because a lot of times when you do the high fly spots, you tend to miss here or there, or certain things could go a little wonky. I don't see that in Leon Slater. The only one you could say questionable was when he did that Swanton 450 all the way from that pole.
Ultimate X, yeah.
Ultimate X, that was a little bit of an eye raising, injury wise, a little bit reckless, but that's the only thing you could really blemish on Leon Slater's, short, young wrestling career. Now, I asked this question to the chat and everyone listening: who dethrones Leon Slater in TNA? Who gets the tap to really dethrone Leon Slater in that X Division title? Because if you do, you're really going to get descended to another level, because Leon has really elevated that title in the short-term memory of TNA wrestling right now. Yeah, and I know that that title has a lot of history and a lot of prestige names, but in the short term, in the modern current right now, that person that beats Leon Slater is really going to get elevated to the next level. I personally would like to see Trey Miguel be the guy after he drops the international title. I kind of would like to see that, because you're invested and you re-sign Trey Miguel for whatever reasons. We talked about it weeks here on the show. Well, I personally would like to see him if it's not going to be Mustafa Ali, but I think Mustafa Ali looks like he's going to be heading into that international title scenario picture really, really soon in the short term. Especially that was announced for Rebellion.
Well, he should be fighting Leon Slater for the X Division Championship, in my opinion. I like Trey Miguel. I've seen him with that title. And if they want to build the new Leon Slater, which is what I think they should do, I hate to say it, it's BD.
BDE. Okay, interesting. You said that there. We're going to fast forward a little bit here, because right after the match, we had a tag team match where Kazarian and AJ Francis, they defeated Elijah and the Hometown Man via pinfall. Not much there. It was a good, fun match for the crowd. Hometown Man. AJ Francis. He's good. AJ Francis, when you put him out there, he is that heel that you just want to see him. He's very entertaining. Of course, the king of TNA, one of the front mushrooms.
He should be the international champion.
I like that. I like where you're going with that. I like that signal you're throwing there. But then we have Carlos Silva and Tommy Dreamer come out to the podium in the stage area. They bring out, great to see Chris Bay come out. Great to see him. Always, seeing him always puts a smile on us wrestling fans to see him walking and see him strong. And they announced the signing of Ricky Sosa, the Belgium wrestler. Bang bang. Ricky Sosa. And Chris, I think that's your Leon Slater replacement with BDE. They're going to get a 2-for-1 with their young talent.
You know what? I totally forgot about Ricky Sosa until you said Carlos Silva and Tommy Dreamer walk out there. I was like, yeah, he's probably the next one, but he's tall. He's tall. Look, I wasn't familiar with Ricky Sosa before I saw him. He did an Explosion episode, and then he came and made his debut. I mentioned this multiple times, and I'm going to say it again. These are the type of talent that TNA needs to go after. He had traction in the indies, especially in the French, European indie scene. I don't know where he's from specifically, but he seems like he has a good talent. Like, I saw his match. I don't want to say he's talent or whatever. I haven't seen much of the kid, so I'm curious to see what he could do. Interested to see who his first big match is going to be. Should be Nick Nemeth, in my opinion, and I throw him around a lot because that's why he's there. He could be he could be anywhere else. And I think him and Moose in the future. Him and Brer Bronson. There's a couple matches I think for him to start that Ricky Sosa I would like to see, just to see what he's about, what kind of style wrestling he is. But it's a good signing. Young kid. That's like your next Leon Slater, like you said.
Here, this is me. I'm going to make this prediction or an observation. When Ricky Sosa, I hope they don't push him right away or elevate him high quickly, but he's got a lot of people. He is more over than I thought BDE was over. But no, Sosa's more over with the crowd. People are willing to pay to see him. I say this, I think when the telltale sign, when we see Ricky Sosa get in a program with AJ Francis, his next step is the world title. There is something about a feud with AJ Francis that prepares the talent to go either for a world title run or any other X division or whatever other titles they have. They always put the AJ Francis test, because AJ Francis is that heel, that credible heel, by the way he works, the way he talks, the way he looks, to get you to that, to elevate you to that next level. So when I see Ricky Sosa, and that's a great compliment for AJ Francis in a good way. And another way, we would love to see AJ Francis with some gold around his waist. But if they're paying you for that and you're helping the business in that area for AJ Francis, great job. And that's why I'm a big proponent and a fan of AJ Francis. But my point is, when I see them getting Ricky Sosa to that next level, I think the gauntlet of putting him in front of an AJ Francis, where he could get that heat, where they could get on the microphone back and forth with some penthouse talk as a special guest, we could hear him speak. I think they're going to be in good shape, and maybe that is the guy that throw Leon Slater on his way out, kind of replacing and then maybe it gets time for BDE, because let's face it, BDE doesn't register certain moves yet, and of course he's new, he's wet behind the ears. He's still, there's still matches with that match with Mustafa Ali, where if you watch our watch along, we spoke about where he's missing some registering. You're selling a little bit here, you're slow it down. That comes with more reps in the ring when it comes to BDE. So all in all, I can't wait to see Ricky Sosa going forward on their what's next for him going forward and TNA signing him, because you have Ring of Honor looking for talent. You've got NXT looking for talent. Dude could have walked into NXT with the lack of male talent that NXT really has got. Ricky Sosa would have been a nice fit. Would have been a nice fit for them.
Yeah, I agree. And he can make an appearance.
He could still work with it. Yes, he could still work with them. Yes, indeed. Absolutely. That's a great one. Definitely. I suspect WWE and AEW will have massive cut release this year. TNA would be the big TNA. We were talking about that when it comes to TNA wrestling. I know everyone wants to see a lot of wrestlers join and be part of Total Nonstop Action TNA roster, but let's think about this. They do tapings every 3 weeks, live tapings or live show, and then they do tapings for the rest of the month. They do PLEs once a month and pay-per-views. Their gates, let's face it, us as TNA fans, when it comes to these arenas, we're not going out in droves. They had a good kudos. They had a sellout in New Orleans. They had a great sellout in New Orleans, but it was like 3,400 or 20. Today's taping, I don't know how the capacity, probably be like 2,500. We need to do better. We got to force TNA as fans. We need to buy more tickets. We got to force TNA to get bigger arenas, 5,000 seats arenas. I'm not saying they need to go to basketball and basketball and hockey arenas, although that's the end game. Of course, we're never limit. But us as fans, we need to start going and support TNA wrestling now and force them to move their arenas, their venues out of small locations. We got to make sure that now they could afford. And if we want to see all these wrestlers that get released, like the Karrion Kross, like the AK Charlie, the Gigi Dolans, the names of those names that everybody quickly associates TNA wrestling in. So we as fans got to do better, buying tickets, selling out the joint, showing up and making them and forcing the hand of TNA wrestling to make money so they could bring in these talents. If we don't do that with our finances, look, there's people buying $10,000 seats to go for fucking 20 minutes on a bus to hear Cody Rhodes that smells like a dog, like Pharaoh. And meanwhile, you don't want to go watch TNA wrestling or tickets. There's something wrong. Priorities. If we want TNA wrestling to grow that way, we need to buy tickets. We need to go out there and start buying tickets and force the hand of the management to put them in bigger arenas. That's the only way we're going to do it, is with our dollars and our time. If we don't do it, they're not going to go to bigger arenas. They're going to play it safe because they're going to go to their means and they won't be able to afford and sign the big talents. They won't be able to afford. Everybody quickly wants to bring Matt Taven in and this guy and that one. They can't if they you got to make sure for them that they have enough money to rent the big arenas and make a profit at the end of the day. So, Chris, all in all, I give the Knockouts champion. We got Adriana Grace retaining.
Right decision.
Not bad. Right decision. Because let's face it, I've said this a lot again, and I like to talk about what's best for business.
Yeah.
This Tuesday, they're going to be at the theater in Madison Square Garden, where Adriana Grace, you're going to see her with the TNA Knockouts title. You're going to have the TNA World Heavyweight Champion Mike Santana in a 6-man tag teaming up with OTM. We're seeing representation and seeing TNA on Madison Square Garden, first and foremost, the theater, and on CW NXT WWE Network television. That's a win-win. That's a That's what you call business marketing. You get to see that title there. That's a win right now. TNA needs that because they're growing in their audience. They're growing in the audience. Again, like I just finished saying, we want these wrestlers to sign with them. Do we need to see more exposure? And that's what, and people hate when they say, oh, the NXT wrestlers taking the TNA titles. But there's a benefit for that because they need to grow. That's what TNA is trying to do. They're trying to tell you without telling you, we need you to support us. And this is by when we're trying to show you and reach where our platform, our titles are in other companies, so you could come and support us, Chris.
I think Ariana Grace. I don't think the men. I don't think any of the NXT men right now need to hold any of the TNA gold.
No,
but when it comes to the women, I agree because we talk. Again, we sounds like a repeat, and we're gonna keep talking about it until they finally put the strap on Tessa or somebody meaningful. They don't, and Gail Kim was tweeting about it on Twitter last night during the show because one of our friends said something and she requoted the tweet, and I agree. We've been talking as fans. We see it. There's nobody there in that division. The closest one is Indy Hartwell, and she doesn't even feel like a big baller right now in the company. So I don't know how to explain it because I actually, if you go not just here, all my other shows, platforms I've ever been on, I've talked very high on this Knockouts division as a whole for a long time, 7 years at least. But now I got to be honest, I don't know who to get invested. I have nobody to get invested for other than Tessa. I have nobody that catches my eye. There are some people that I see that are up and coming. We talk about that, the M's of the world, the Mila Moores of the world. But there's nobody right now that catches my eye. And that's a problem for them right now in the Knockouts division.
It's a problem right now. TNA singles men are superior to NXT right now. NXT men's wrestling, we're going to talk about NXT in a bit. And I like Wrigley Field. Oh, my God. Alien Night Owl. Would love to see that. A stadium show. We asked Carlos Silva, that's a goal. And right now, baby steps. We got to get first out of the small arenas and get into basketball arenas where we could think about arenas, stadiums, and so forth. But we'd love to see TNA at a Wrigley Field. Yeah, or one of those traditional fields, Fenway. I'm not a Red Sox fan. I'm a Yankee fan, but I wouldn't mind seeing TNA at Wrigley Field. But we'll see where that goes here. For Jada Stone, not quite there yet. Mila Moore, not there yet. M by Elegance, not there yet. To be in the world in your knockouts, to be the face of the women's division right now. Mm-hmm. I said that at the end of the year, Mila Moore and by Elegance, Maggie Lee might be one of those two that would be seen battling for the Knockouts division years to come. And the Jada Stone, you could see that, but not yet. They're not there yet. That's why. That's why
the one that questions me, man.
Okay, no, you're rightfully so because of her petite size. And yes, she's tiny. She's tiny. I wouldn't mind seeing a hard-hitting battle brawl between Tasha Steele and Tessa. I mean, my goodness.
Absolutely. No, time out. I'm so happy you brought why the fuck isn't she the world Knockouts champion right now? I'm Tasha Steele. I'm so sorry that I forgot about you. I just you're tied up right now with Order 4. Sometimes I kind of forget. I'm sorry. I think you're phenomenal. I've been a huge fan. Why the hell isn't she the Knockouts champion?
I'm gonna say this like my grandfather.
She's the most credible. She's been there forever, for a long time. Oh my God, go ahead.
I'm gonna say what my grandfather will say, and I mean it with love and respect. Negrita, a mí no se me ha olvidado de ti. I haven't forgot about you.
I haven't, but I have. But it's like, she should be your Knockouts champion, bro. Maybe I'm seeing something that you guys aren't with Jada Stone.
I don't think it's too risky to bring Deonna Purrazzo.
Why is it risky to bring Deonna Purrazzo? She's a former Knockouts champion.
There's nothing risky with that. I think she's be welcomed back with open arms in a heartbeat. The virtuosa, and with a heartbeat,
bro. Do you want to see Deonna Purrazzo versus Tessa, or do you want to go see her like she did last night against Gazelle Shaw? Stop.
What? I'm not getting. The main issue is TNA bad booking. I don't think it's bad booking this organization. I thought if you watch the beginning of the show, we gave them a lot of credit of their organization and discernment and decision making. I thought they were on point. Bring someone
Their
from
match
NWA.
placements were good throughout the night too. Like,
oh yeah,
yeah. No, I liked it. And dude, one thing I took notice too with this show, it's like, not to jump ahead, but none of these matches were that long. And I think they were going to, I know the main event started around like 10:50, but I do think they were going to give that match more time.
That was going to 11:30, Chris. Easy.
Right. And I do think they were I think Eddie Edwards was supposed to come out anyway. I think there was already supposed to be shenanigans. But yeah, and whatever. What match do you want to talk about?
No, I want to read this comment. Santana shouldn't be your world champion. Why? He's got the most investment where everyone. Did you see the crowd when he came out through the crowd? The crowd, there is you. This is the most relatable person you could relate to in all of TNA locker room. Battling addiction, struggling, and believing in yourself where you had doubts. And no, I disagree. I mean, and again, we're Uber Santana fans, so we might
disagree.
Be there.
I disagree, but maybe he's not invested because he's had the title. Like, I don't know. Maybe you weren't invested. You were invested in that first run, and maybe not now. I don't know. I do think I'm not that he shouldn't. Of course, he should be your world champion. But again, if anybody's taking the title off him right now, it's Nemeth. I mean, Santana, he has the most buzz right now. I'm not talking about name value. The most buzz right now. When people think about TNA, you think about three people. I'm gonna put the Hardys as three people. They're a package deal.
Hardys, I agree with
Nemeth, the Hardys, Nemeth, and Santana. So.
And if you have any doubt, tune in Tuesday night to the CW. And when he comes out at the Theater Madison Square Garden, listen to the buzz he's going to get.
I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious because it's not the PC. It's a Madison Square Garden arena. I'm genuinely curious to see the reaction.
Bro, when the ring announcer, when Mike Rome says from the Bronx, New York.
I hope so.
Bro, the place is going to go ape shit. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. Trust me, that place is going to go ape shit. Unless if they price the people there, but I doubt it. When they say from the Bronx, New York, they're going to get a buzz there on there. And this is one thing I want to say. I saw earlier. I would like to, I'm going to ask this question. What's the deal with Billy Corgan? Is Billy Corgan doesn't work nice with others? Because it will benefit Billy Corgan to work with TNA Wrestling, to have cross promotions with the team, with NWA and TNA as well as NXT. And only going to benefit his show. Look at what the success TNA has had collaborating with the WWE. It would be nice to see NWA collaborate alongside with TNA. Those two promotions working strong. Tiffany Nieves would be a nice addition to be seen on TNA Impact Zone, and many other wrestlers from Power Hour, vice versa. And look, Sinners and Saints. You telling me they don't have a nice run in the Crockett Cup on the NWA? It will work. I don't know if Billy Corgan doesn't work nice with others. I have to question him because I don't see, other than I see Natalia.
I think he does, though.
I don't know
because I don't know where. I don't know. I thought he would be because a lot of people that I've heard, like in wrestling music, like they speak highly of Billy Corgan. I just, maybe companies don't want to do business with them. Maybe he's down for that because I don't see why he wouldn't be. He's a smart businessman. He knows what he's doing. Smashing Pumpkins are a really, really popular band worth millions and millions. He knows how to make money with his entertainment skills. He knows what he's doing. So he would be stupid not to attempt, which I believe that could be the case. I don't follow NWA like that. You could ask Aaron Loves Wrestling. He could probably tell you. But I don't see why not. He has a lot of friends in the business: AEW, MLP, TNA, WWE.
I would like to see that. Shout out to Aaron Loves Wrestling. Don't forget to support, follow, share, and check out his content. One of our friends, one of our pals, and followers there, as well as many others as Square Circle, Marine Shadows. Don't forget all our guys there. We'll give them a shout out as the show goes on, or as time goes on here for everyone there. Don't forget Dragonfly Jones of Bodyslam.net, who's got an interview with Marilyn Reed and Killer Kelly. So check his content out as well. We're looking forward to hear what they have to say in an interview there. Moving on here. Let's wrap up the TNA Sacrifice review here. This was a very good situation before we move on to the other companies throughout the week. I thought this was a good pay-per-view. The structure, the card placement, the matches, like you said, nothing felt long. Even the BDE segment, not the BDE, the ODB segment, bringing out the knockout legends, with something in between. All in all, was really good.
They're lucky. I love ODB. She's a childhood favorite of mine.
A lot of people loved her. We had Mets, marked out a gasket there on the stream as well for her.
Rightfully so. I enjoyed her. I enjoyed her when she was there.
Yeah, I think that was all entertaining. Interesting, Mickey James last night, also great to see Hardcore Country there. It was a nice moment there to see those there. One Man Gang was in the building, so it was good to see the One Man Gang.
Terrell, the former WWE Emma
Terrence Terrell was in the building looking.
Popped.
She looks phenomenal. She still looks great. She looks still looks ravishing.
Got a little pop because I was like, who? It's gonna be Candice Michelle but she said former TNA. I thought for some stupid reason, Kim came to my fucking head. But I was like, I like that. I popped.
I had to give my the promo code for you guys to get some blue chews after.
Her and Velvet Sky back in the early, like right before the 2010s. They were they were my thing. Angela Love, no, honey. Too much on the face.
No, you know how it goes, and look at that. Velvet Sky was so much woman that now Bully Ray's throwing sausage parties.
On the rooftop too.
On the rooftop at the Palms.
Out of all fucking places too in Vegas.
Then shout out to Bully Ray and his sausage party. Now he wants to do a mosh. He wants to do a mosh pit with men. More men together.
He wanted to bring a water dunk where you sit and then you throw the ball and then you go down, and they wouldn't let him. Like, why the fuck would you want to bring that on the top of a roof at the Palms? What are you like? Are you gonna put yourself in there?
Isn't he gonna get? Before we move on, isn't he gonna get teabagged? At the party.
Is he gonna talk to the fans like they're little kids? You won't hit me. Do you know who I am?
Well, speaking of that, we're going to hear from one of our sponsors, and we're going to find out who he is.
All right. Before we keep this energy going, shout out to the sponsor of tonight's stream, G Fuel Energy. If you're watching this live, you already know. We don't do slow reactions. We don't do low energy. We stay locked in. And that's exactly what G Fuel brings to the table. Zero sugar, loaded with focus, and built for long streams just like this. Whether you're grinding, gaming, or watching chaos unfold with us, G Fuel keeps you going. Hit the link in the description, use code PGHCHRIS, and level up your energy the same way we do on Sports Jedi Network. Let's get back to it.
I'm Tom Hannafin from TNA Wrestling. You're watching the Jedi Sports Network.
Go fuel up. Thank you, Tom. And what a good job there you guys did.
That shit on Wednesday.
You do, huh? Let's speak about Wednesday, man. Let's go right into it. I'm going to change the graphics. Don't wait before, because normally when we change the graphics, we get a little bit of a, let me get the graphics changed, because we're going to talk some All Elite Wrestling. And let's start with the main event that went first, Chris. And we get Chris here. This is you, because you switch it up on us on Wednesdays.
Because it's just me on Wednesdays. That's why I had it like that.
Go for it.
Yes, AEW. I have my notes that I took. I delete them, after the weekly wrestling, but I have my notes here. AEW Dynamite. They started off guys, we're going to start off with the match that everyone wanted to watch. We're not just going to start off with it, guys. AEW started off with this match. Kenny Omega versus Swerve. Let's talk about that. I enjoyed the match. You know, it was good. I'm not going to go into the... If you guys want to hear, you know, Kenny Omega hit a V trigger to the back of the head, this and that, you guys can go check out Wednesday nights. I break it down. I do all that stuff. But Kenny, he beats Swerve. He becomes the #1 contender. I like this match, but a couple things. The series between Kenny Omega and Swerve is now 1-1. So and I understand the stipulation. That stipulation that they had, them building that up, that saves it for me. But when you have them being 1-1 and all of a sudden like that, Kenny's the world the #1 contender. Kind of weird, but it's a good match to have at Dynasty, him versus MJF. They're in Canada country, so that's good for Kenny. And the one thing I liked about this, I knew that Kenny would win because Kev, you've heard me talked about this since MJF won that title back, is that they're feeding MJF the best baby faces in the company. They took out Hangman. We're not going to see Hangman for a while. This is probably going to be the same thing. I don't think Swerve, his character, what he's doing fits competing against Hangman or MJF for the world title. So this is why I like this. It's going to be a really good match. I'm going to fast forward just a tiny bit with this because this has to do with that. I don't like the face-to-face that they had yesterday. I'm annoyed. I already got my rant and my screaming out of the way on Thursday, so I'm not going to do that here. Why the hell is Kenny Omega competing in a 6-man tag team match next week and doing a contract signing? Why didn't we just have MJF talk about Kenny Omega, this and that, have something? Every time MJF gets an open mic nowadays, he just needs an interruption. I'm sick of it. I want to hear MJF speak. Kenny Omega we could have seen Kenny Omega and MJF face to face last week. Hell, if Kenny Omega wanted to come down face to face and do something, this didn't hit. So good match. Just a couple of things here that with Kenny Omega that's not resonating with me. He should be focusing on MJF, not playing trios. There we go. Look at that, baby. Look at that face off.
As you get your drink of a little bit of G Fuel energy. Get that G Fuel energy. Let's go. Let's go. Chris, when I saw this, you know, I didn't watch it live. There was the Yankee game going on. So I was watching that. So then I see that and I go, why the main event first? Why the main event first? You know, it didn't. I guess they wanted to piggyback off of the 4 pillars. You know, Wallowitz, Kultapali, Sheldon, and Leonard from the Bang Big Theory. I don't know. I was like, what the hell? Why put that first there? And especially when they didn't really pay anything off at the end of the show. What, Pendejo getting beat up? I mean, at the end of the show, really? This is what they went on. They went off the air with the biggest pendejo in professional wrestling, getting power drive here by Mark Davis.
Ridiculous. That was ridiculous. That spot was ridiculous. Yes, I mean, it was at the match, but I agree. The main event was not Kenny Omega, and look, I agree, man. What the hell happened to this badass Kenny? Granted, he had Don Callis with him, so Don Callis did most of the talking. But it's like, thank you, good night, mwah. Like, I'm so sick of that shit.
Kenny Olivier,
dude. I'll never forget watching that Cornette compilation backstage. Holy hell. I can't repeat some of the shit that Cornette said on his platforms, but
that's why in our neck of the woods, we call him Kenny Omierda. You see why we call him Kenny Omierda? Dookie! Come on, it's the guy who said Dookie.
I love him in the ring, man. Love Kenny Omega in the ring. He's one of my favorite in-ring wrestlers to watch, but God, I cannot stand him on a mic recently.
Look,
his shit with Osprey was the last time that I felt invested in Kenny Omega on the mic, when he was feuding with Osprey, because it was a little bit of realism.
And I know you mentioned this, Chris. I wanted to give my thoughts. You said about the 1-1 matchup between Kenny Omega and Swerve. Oh, it's 1-1, a third match. They went in. No, the second match was a all in. Like when you're playing poker, double or nothing. Because the stipulation was you're gonna
Right.
put your. It was all. It's like when you're playing. So right now Swerve is bankrupt. If you're playing poker, the stipulation was double or nothing. I'm going all in. Where the all in part was I'm giving up my number one contendership, and you're gonna give up your EVP status. That's it. There is no more of a feud for them to wrestle no more.
No. There's nothing. Yeah, that's why I said that them doing the stipulation saves it. Them building up saves it. They saved it. What up, Jordan from Canada?
What's going on, Jordan in the building? Let's go.
You excited for Dynasty since it's going to be in your neck of the woods there?
Oh, what province of Canada you're from, by the way? I know he's a big Ricky Sosa fan. I see the avatar or the thumbnail. Sosa. Let's go. Now, let me say this about that I wanted to and that's what I wanted to elaborate with you. I wanted to make sure I mentioned that to you. That was the stipulation. Everything was all in like a
Right.
poker.
Yeah.
We're gonna put everything in, all the chips on the card or all the chips on the table, and let's get the match and call it. Now for MJF, how exciting are we going to see in Vancouver the matchup with Kenny Omega? It kind of feels like MJF is so much stronger. Like I don't know, people are so crazy of trying to take the title off of MJF, which you're seeing ratings increasing week after week. What's the love? And this is what hurts, and it happens with wrestling fans. Period. The love of wanting the hot potato titles. If it's working with MJF as world champion, what's the rush? What the rush of taking the title off of him? The ratings are great. What for the glorified stuntman who paints his face like a skeleton, or Kenny Omega who can't cut promos? People are going to change the channel. If MJF is the guy that's bringing in and thank you for the house, don't fix what's not broken, Chris. And it pisses me off. It drives me nuts.
I agree, dude. Look, AEW still has their flaws. I can't see MJF Knuckle Brew. Thank you for being here. You were a big part of the stream on Thursday. But I told you this. I told everybody this on Wednesday. I'm going to tell you guys here on Saturday in front of a great audience, over 1,000 people, which we thank all you guys for being here. This is what I'm saying about Kenny Omega or MJF. Yes, he's not. The only time I see MJF possibly losing that championship is Wembley against Will Osprey, and we'll get into him in a sec. But he's actually going to be the next thing I talk about. But anyway, Kenny Omega, he's going to be gone for a little bit after this match. He's not going to win. AEW, they still have their flaws, match placements, all that stuff. But the reality is their pay-per-views for the most part are good, and AEW's at a good spot statistically right now. Had their biggest rating last week since 2024. So you need to keep doing what you're doing. Again, them having Osprey back is a big plus. Maybe that's why he's on the show more, even though I don't think he should. But yeah, I like what they got going on here. Again, this is going to be a great match at Dynasty. Looking forward to what they got going on next week. And next week, Wednesday live, we are back to our normal programming. So make sure you guys are there.
Yeah, I was going to ask this here when it came to Kenny. He's already leaving. Is he scheduled not to be around?
Well, I think it's just speculation because again, he's going through a lot. He is around. It feels like he's having a lot of these matches. To me, I'm speculating. I've not heard anything from anybody. I've not seen anything from anybody. This is solely Chris's thoughts. That to me, it feels like he's having these matches. Like I need to have these matches now. We already didn't see him at Revolution. He's kind of taking breaks between Dynamites. I don't know because of Wembley. If it's not before Wembley, it's 100% after. I'm not saying he's going to retire. I'm just saying he's going to be on that Roman Reigns type of schedule.
Okay, which fair. He should be if he's battling diverticulitis.
That and
You know,
he's been with the company since day one, helped this shit from the ground up. If there's anybody in the company that can do that single star, him and MJF. Even not right now for MJF because he's the champion and he's important, but just for what they've done and who they are, yeah, he needs to be on that schedule, and maybe we see him on that schedule at their dynasty.
let me read this comment first, and then I got another thing. Max is okay. Well, Osprey and Moxley, okay, and
We're gonna get to that next.
all right. But here's the one thing, and I wanted to bring this. And this Wednesday we got it advertised. I know you were very upset about it. Don't forget, we have the live. But could it be because of his condition, that he's kind of being in a multi-man match? You're gonna get him on television, but can't work a full 25 minutes. Because look, let's face it. I don't know why Tony Khan and AEW agents, producers, they're allergic to a nice 15-minute, 12-minute match. Everything has to be 5 minutes long. It's like you could still, if done right, you could produce a nice match in 12, 15 minutes, especially the level of Kenny Omega, who had that promo with MJF that they call him a god, a wrestling god. So why not have a nice 12, 10-minute match where the wrestling god wins? He doesn't have to squash, but he could get in a victory, make a point. It's not about the challenger across from Kenny Omega. It's about Kenny Omega accelerating and ascending to that wrestling god level to take on your world champion who calls himself the devil. That's the story they should be telling here. And they don't need, and I don't know if that's going to help in a 6-man tag. Where is he really going to accentuate being the god mode of wrestling in a 6-man tag?
I'm happy you brought that up. Chat, I want you guys to tell me who the hell in this graphic has anything to do with Kenny Omega competing for that title at Dynasty? All because the bald man in the middle, the one that's kind of getting shit on social media recently, that bald-headed clown in the middle, all because he went during this show and said, I want Kenny Omega. What does that have to do with anything that Kenny Omega is doing against MJF? That's my problem. This is literally what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing this during this match and getting ready for their contract signing because I don't want to see it.
Not at all. And you're totally, and you know what? You're more than right to your opinion and your statement. I second that. If anything, there should have been a one-on-one. You know what? Ricochet should have won one-on-one with Kenny Omega, where Kenny Omega wins under 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Fair.
Simple.
Fair. That's a cool match on the card. I don't mind that.
You don't have to force finish and spam
it. The same day that they're doing a contract signing, though.
Okay, I got you. And they could have even pushed the contract.
That's why I'm so upset about it. Why are you giving me a contract signing? Because they said it with Renee. They're going to be doing it. Why are you doing both on the same night? I just don't understand what the match, what's that going to lead to? It's not going to be one of those situations where Kenny Omega or MJF's going to come out there and cost Kenny Omega like he did with Hangman. It made sense but it made sense when MJF did it with Hangman because he just fought Kevin Knight the late couple matches before. It made sense. This doesn't make sense at all. MJF has nothing going on with Ricochet, neither does Kenny.
Well, didn't they tease a backstage promo like an alliance with Ricochet and MJF or some nonsense along the lines with they have interactions?
MJF's involved with the Callis family.
I agree with you too. Like I don't know, Chris. I'm trying to get into the AEW realm of thinking, which could be, oh my God, what a rabbit hole to be thinking like them. Maybe I'm trying to make it make sense. I'm trying to it might not, and it's not. And I know you got the great rebuttals back and forth with it, but I'm trying to put on some counterpoint to your argument. I don't know. I maybe that's where MJF wants to. Maybe this is a way of getting Ricochet a victory without really him pinning where the shenanigans with MJF and Ricochet and the Demand one. Oh snap! They beat a Brody King and Jungle Perry. I don't know, Jungle Jack. I don't know. I'm just trying to make sense of something that
I agree.
It's out there. I know something that you're going to want to try to make sense, and he's looking forward to. Don't forget, Wednesday nights at 10:15. Chris will be on to do the recap on a match that he is so much looking forward to. Chris, tell us about this.
Why the hell are we getting this match? Well, I'll tell you why we're getting this match, because Pac came out and beat Osprey up when Osprey came out and beat up or had this match with Blake Christian when he came back to Dynamite. So they're running this match before we just talked so much about Hangman, all these people, and I'm getting names all over the place, so bear with me. We got Pac when he beat up Osprey, and look, the match is going to be great. I understand that, but we need to be focusing on Osprey and Moxley. This guy, we had that dumb bump that we saw on AEW. I don't know if we still have that. Do we still have that?
Yeah, it should be there. Which one you want, buddy?
It is crazy. That stupid bump that Will Ospreay takes when he fought Blake Christian. That was ridiculous. Anyway, my point is.
No, I don't have it.
No, that's fine. My point is, we don't need Pac and Osprey. Pac has a history with injuries. Osprey's coming from injury, just from that standpoint alone. But why? Just why? Osprey should be focusing on Moxley. Now, again, I like the match that him and Moxley are doing at Dynasty, but again, it being for the Continental Championship doesn't need to be for the Continental Championship. But again, you can't defend. I don't like championship or champions defending or having matches, especially singles matches, on a card where they're not defending their championship. So it's like, what do they do? That's why I don't know if Will Ospreay versus Moxley was necessarily needed. It's a great first match but first big match back for Ospreay, and it's a good thing for Moxley. But 1 minute Moxley's a fucking face. 1 minute he's a baby or a heel. 1 minute he's a baby face. 1 minute he's a heel. Like, I agree with Alien Night Owl. No more John Moxley, please.
When I've been one of these, you should have waited. Will Ospreay's such a the AEW fans, the sickos, they adore this guy.
I love Will Ospreay. He's like my favorite.
People love Will Ospreay. People are behind him. People want him. They're happy to see him. The Blake Christian match is already done. They should have never done that match.
Yes.
First and foremost. For this upcoming Dynasty, Will Ospreay should have taken on a Pac. They're giving it to you on a free television. I get it. Ratings are increasing. Ratings are getting good. But then when you have them, so you're making fans pay $49.99. I think you would have got a nice pop for Will Ospreay versus Pac. His first match back, he's going to take on the bastard Pac, fellow countryman. You could have done all that in Winnipeg, where they're going to go for Dynasty. They should have done that there, or Vancouver. The Dynamite is in Winnipeg. They're in, it's like this is the guy. Tony Khan is like the guy who has freaking, he's a 3-minute man. He goes in, wham bam, thank you, man. It's seriously, he has no longevity. Everything at the moment, there's no build up, there's no foreplay. He just wants to just get into it. Thank you, Marie Shadows. Bless your hearts, guys, for talking AEW. We're trying to make sense of it, Marie.
Thank you for the shout out on your Instagram too. I just saw that. So
awesome. Thank you, Marie. We appreciate you. We always shouting you out. Square Circles, Marie Shadow podcast. If your ears are ringy, Marie, it's because we're saying good things about you. We're in a world where a lot of people say a lot of negative things, but no, we're talking good things.
She has us on the TV too.
Nice.
We made it.
Nice. We made it, Mom. But no, back to this. He gives it all out right away. No build, no foreplay here. Bam, bam, thank you, man, when it comes to Tony Khan. And it's frustrating. And that's why there's really no growth in the company. 6 years in, if it wasn't for MJF, who knows what, and him destroying New Japan Pro Wrestling, where the hell would they be?
I still think, they'll be okay, but they're not going to have that same interest. Like MJF being the world champion right now draws so much more interest. We know he's going to be on the show. Like again, I think now people are starting to realize how important that dude is to AEW. And put Knuckle Brew's comment back up, because
Yes.
I hate to say it, because everyone knows Will Ospreay is my favorite wrestler, at least in AEW. But I don't know if he's ready to go into Wembley and win the AEW championship. Now, granted, I think last time they were in Wembley Stadium, when him and Osprey, it was MJF versus Osprey, won in Wembley. They're going to tell a phenomenal story based off their first match. The last time we were in Wembley, it was a great match. I just don't think he's ready to carry a company. He reminds me of a little bit like Swerve. I think Swerve's phenomenal. The fans are really behind Swerve. I love Swerve. But we kind of saw when he won the title, and maybe he got the title too late. That's up for debate. But the point is, when he did get the title, I don't really think he resonated or as a champion or really grabbed people's attention more than maybe they already had. And that didn't help that he lost to Bryan Danielson, all because Tony wanted and Bryan wanted a fucking feel-good moment. If he beats Danielson at Wembley that year, I think we're in a different ball game with Swerve. I don't know, but I feel like Osprey is the same. Love Osprey. I don't think he's ready to carry AEW on his back the rest of 2026. That's why I'm even scared for this match to happen. Because again, the reason why I brought up their first match in Wembley is because it's going to make freaking great storytelling for television leading up to their second match at Wembley. And they would main event it this time. But you would have to have Will Ospreay win that. You would have to. And that scares me. And I love Will Ospreay.
This is the issue that Will Ospreay has, in my opinion, as well as Swerve Strickland. Neither one could talk you into the building to buy tickets. They could wrestle their asses to make you want to watch their match. They're must watch. But like he said, after a while, the matches get boring. You can't only do handstands and all the different Oz cutters as much as possible. You can't have the people just say whose house. You get bored after a while. You need something. They need to talk you into why I want to work a 40+ hour work week and give you my money to watch.
And they've done that. And Swerve has done that with the whole dude. I still think Swerve and Hangman's is a top. You could say top 3 storyline in AEW history. Like I think he knows how to do that. He's improved. He's not everyone's favorite on the mic, but he's definitely improved, especially when he is a heel. With Osprey, he's had big programs, but the thing with Osprey is he's always had those big feuds with people that are better than him on the mic. But Osprey, but the reason why I like Osprey, like, he's not bad. He's really not. Like, people resonate with him. He speaks about his personal, problems on the mic. He gets people invested. It's just I don't know if it could translate to where people would resonate him with a national audience like MJF, who has appeared on movies. Adam Sandler has basically co-signed him in the acting world. Like, he's the star that they have right now. And yes, Will in the card will sell out Wembley, just like it sold out Wembley when he had, him and Jericho wasn't the reason it sold out, but he had a big match with Jericho, and he was in a big match with MJF. Like, him on the card is against MJF's going to sell out Wembley no matter whatever. But it's just, you got to. I love Will Ospreay a lot. Like, he's one of my top 3 favorite wrestlers. But I got to think long term for this business for this company with AEW. And it has to be on MJF for at least a year.
I know he said he'll sell out Wembley. Of course he'll sell out Wembley. It's him. It's this hometown hero, But what about elsewhere? Because they go to the UK maybe once, twice a year. You need so tell me, where is he going to? The same thing for TNA. We said when they stop going to theaters, small arenas, or theater houses for AEW, and they start getting back into bigger houses, then we'll find out if there's a bigger draw. If Will Ospreay is that bigger draw. As of right now, they're still booking in small venues. Can he take the company to the next level? Max is trying, but Max can only do so much. Max is doing the television ratings. He's helping with the television ratings. But where is that talent that's going to make the force All Elite Wrestling to go in bigger venues? Look for a bigger venue. He's not on the roster right now.
Well, bigger venue for Dynamite?
Yes.
Okay, because they filled up the crypto arena pretty well for their.
Well, of course, the pay-per-views are that's their bread and, like you always say, bread and butter. You got to when are we going to start thanking for the house to Big AJ Boom? Because every time that man's on the card, they seem to fill out the place for 10,000 people.
I'm with you. Didn't they do that last year? They did the show last year in No, it was in Crypto Arena. One show.
That's the only difference from Dynamite.
Or the Kia Forum.
That's the only difference from Dynamite, bro. Is there AJ Boom? He's a draw. Him or Shane Taylor's production.
Oh my God, dude, that'd forever be one of my favorite clips. But yeah, I mean, we're gonna see what happens with Will Ospreay. I know Marie Shadows brought up the War Dogs in AEW.
Let's get right into that.
I know, she brought him in the chat here, so I will acknowledge that. Didn't want to, I'm not that interested, Marie Shadows, and the only reason why I wasn't going to talk about it is because Dickhead is involved in the match. I think we all know who I'm talking about when I say that. I'm talking about this clown. Yeah, take your glasses off. I'll smack the shit out of you. Anyway. Yeah, the War Dogs, David Finlay, Clark Connors. We didn't see, Gabe Kidd wasn't in the match. It was a good match. They won, which thank God. But again, I don't know what the plan is for the War Dogs. I don't know if they're gonna build David Finlay and Clark Connors for a tag team run, if they're gonna build Finlay and Kidd, Clark and Kidd, if they're going to go for the trios. I like the finisher they used at the end of the match to get the win there. But again, they're a traditional tag team, so either one's fine. I don't know where the direction is for the War Dogs right now.
As long as this Wednesday, I don't need to see those same 6 men touch, look at each other, or feud. From Pendejo Allen to the other idiot Cassidy and oh my God, the human charisma in Roderick Strong, that prick. I don't need to see neither one.
Oh yeah, your favorite, you're the most grateful man on earth.
That man is Roderick Strong is the prick of all pricks, and I'll tell you the story. I said it time and time again. The son of a bitch's birthday was on, and he was wrestling in NXT in the Performance Center. On his birthday, the whole freaking Performance Center, like a bunch of marks, sang happy birthday to the dickhead. He didn't even acknowledge and say thank you. He just kept going. He didn't want to be in NXT. Don't take it out on the fans that sang you happy birthday live in the arena. The whole fucking arena sang him happy birthday. The asshole didn't even acknowledge it. From their end, when they put him in that stretcher and wrote him off NXT, that was the greatest moment in NXT history because he was that prick, Roderick Strong. Yeah. I don't care about if you're getting the push or not. You didn't want to be there, but you didn't even acknowledge the fans that wished you a happy birthday. And it was his birthday, by the way, because we checked on it. I said, maybe it wasn't his birthday. And he was like, what the hell they're singing? No, it was his birthday. It was in July. So look it up. I don't remember the exact date. It was in July. That's Roderick Strong's birthday. That prick. That's why I couldn't care less for that charisma douchebag.
I enjoyed him in Black and Gold. He was one of the people I enjoyed on Black and Gold. But yeah, I don't know where their direction is. I think. Go ahead.
I think we're going to the War Dogs probably going to take on the Rascals. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Trios. If one of them gets like the trios tag team titles or something.
Saraya is no longer with AEW, so she won't be part of that trio.
She's not going to be doing that. I like Clark Connors. He's awesome. David Finlay, I was familiar with his dad, Finlay, in 2006, and Gabe. He's a Temu Conor McGregor. That's what he seems like. When he went live, his feud with Osprey and New Japan when they were going live, dude, that was awesome. That was awesome. But one thing
if you can understand their English, I can't understand Osprey when he talks either.
You know what, bro? You know, I'm not gonna repeat a lot of the things, but I like that Tekla won against Mina. It was a good match.
Tekla, Chris.
Tekla. I like how she won. She's a heel champion. She got the cheap win. Mina looked all right. Nothing really too much there. I think Tekla is the future of that women's division alongside Megan Bayne.
Bro, Mina Melons is the one that attacked Tony Storm. You could smell it. I said it from the very beginning. It's Mina who attacked Tony Storm. She's the one.
Mina Melons.
Yeah, you could say Mina tits. I heard you.
Harley, because I got her mixed with Harley.
Another one.
I said Harley.
There's a lot. They're like the Smiths. You know. There's a lot of Smiths in the world. Yeah, Harley Smiths. There you go. There we go. We're gonna use that. We're gonna substitute the word tits to Smith.
Tag team.
The Smith sisters.
Harley. What about the puppet can join in too?
There you go.
There you go.
They could do.
But,
and you could bring. They could do another Don Omar song. Incorporate them.
Dude, every time I hear Mina's theme song,
I
sing that every time. Dude, not this Wednesday, but the last time she was out with Tony or whatever it was, dude, I played when her theme song came out. I played the song and I was just not the lyrics, just the instrumental. I was like, holy shit, did they sound the same? But yeah, I mean, this show. Look, all right, I'll get my final thoughts on Dynamite before we talk the WWE stuff. Because we got a lot to talk about there. This Dynamite this week, it was all right. I enjoyed the Kenny and Osprey, or the Kenny and Swerve match. It was good. It was tough for anything else to really follow that. They should have been in the main event. Didn't really enjoy the main event as much. Between Rush and Darby Allin wasn't necessary. But I think they're building up the matches well. They got FTR and Cope, and FTR versus Cope and Christian. They got Moxley and Osprey and MJF versus Kenny. So on paper, those are three really good matches going into your next pay-per-view. That's not too far away. So
yeah, let's build. We're gonna see now they're in Canada. They're gonna build for their dynasty. The next few weeks, and hopefully for you sickos, you guys keep supporting and watching the shows. Don't let the ratings slip down. If you want your company to succeed and grow and get pushed and talked, two things: tune in for the ratings, especially where now is the most important time. I say for the next 6 to 9 months, for them, if they want to secure another major television deal, they need to start elevating they're elevating their ratings at the right time. I said it. If they don't do something, if Wembley doesn't propel them big crowd, they're not getting a major big money television deal. I've said it myself, because they're not going to wait for the last second. They want to see a body of work. And if they see a body of work where the numbers are increasing, they're going to get another television deal for AEW. And if you guys want your AEW to be on television, on network, where you're able to not behind a paywall, this is the time, to start watching and tuning in and supporting the company. Big, this is a big phase, a big moment in the company's history for their longevity, in my opinion, for the TV ratings. Executives are going to see what they're doing and their increase. And this is one thing I am glad you bought this. Thank you for reminding me. Why in the world we haven't seen this guy for almost 18 months? He's in the main event. Roosh. Why did they put Roosh? Why did they itch? Why did they have an itch in their ass to put Roosh in the main event? Because Dragon Lee, his brother's getting a push in the WWE for the Intercontinental title. Is that what it is? That should have been the opening contest, to be honest with you.
And in a regular singles match.
Yeah. But why
was even Rush even in the match? I just don't understand what Darby. You're going from Darby and friends, and then Darby and Gabe Kidd to fucking Darby and Rush. Why did you just have Darby versus Clark Connors or something?
Does Danza Corudo have a translation? It's Portuguese, so I don't know what that means. Yeah, I'm gonna have to translate it. I never looked at the translation.
I never did either.
Marie, I don't know. I never took that translation.
All I know is
Portuguese.
That's the only part of the song. That's the only thing I know.
Yeah. So I don't know. I know you got to put your hands up and you have to move your hips. I mean, I'm trying to translate it. Mano arriba, cinturas, la media vuelta.
Aye.
But all in all, to wrap up the All Elite Wrestling Dynamite talk and all the AEW talk, good job there. Good job there. Hopefully they increase. Look, good job on them increasing their ratings. Whether we like it or not, if you like it, you don't like it. If that's not your cup of coffee, or is your cup of coffee, enjoy it. Because when this is part of the highs and lows of the wrestling business. Right now, they're in a little bit of a high. Now with maybe possibly Mercedes Moné returning. That's going to help the women's division. If you want to agree or disagree, that's another whole conversation. They're going to get it. They're going to get the influx of her. Yet again, one thing, the criticism, 920 spot for the win match again. And those tag team titles feel irrelevant. Like they did it, and it's like, ugh, like, yeah, they're not enough women's storyline building course. They have one Marie Sharakawa, where Mina Sharakawa, and maybe, but I don't know. It could go off the rails in a heartbeat. So let's see how that goes for All Elite Wrestling. All right, Chris, let's hear from our sponsor before we shift into the WWE talk here. Let's see who we're gonna hear from here. I gotta change the background. Let's hear from Dude Wipes, and then we'll change our background.
All right, quick break. Don't go anywhere. This segment is sponsored by Dude Wipes. Whether you're grinding through work, hitting the gym, or locked in for a full night of wrestling, Dude Wipes help you stay fresh. Simple as that. Portable, convenient, and designed for real life. And of course, this show is powered by the Sports Jedi Network. Independent wrestling coverage, real discussion, and a community that actually knows the product. If you rock with what we do here, support the sponsors that support the channel. Now, let's get back to the breakdown. Take it away, PGH Chris and Sports Jedi Kev.
You're watching Jedi Sports Network with Kev.
I really appreciate you on that. Don't forget, go to Dude Wipes, hit Dude Wipes, and save 20% off as I put that promo code in a minute here. Chris, as we're getting a build for Stand and Deliver, I thought TNA NXT on Tuesday was a pretty decent show. Good back and forth. We're getting a fatal four-way, which we kind of knew for the NXT men's title. The biggest pop that came out of NXT for me is that 6-man tag where OTM picks a tough realist of the real. When you go into New York City, he told you, wipe your feet on the airport when you step off the plane, because Mike Santana, your TNA World Champion, will be teaming up with OTM to take out Dark State.
Yeah, well, good way to get Santana inside Madison Square Garden.
And that pop, and we talked about that. We wanted to see Mike in Madison Square Garden. Now we're going to see him at your TNA World Champion. Yes, it's the theater at Madison Square Garden. It's still the marquee of the Garden. Yes, it's the theater, but still, you don't tell that to the boxers. Oh, you're not wrestling at the Garden. There's a lot of boxing for Amanda Serrano and Kelly Taylor, who fought a couple matches at the Garden, at the theater, Madison Square Garden. Today, still, it was the Mecca. So Mike Santana will be in the Mecca. He'll be in the arena, coming out with Dark State. I can't wait to see that. I'm excited to see where that goes. I'm hoping. This is just me. We get a cross in the hallway between Joe Hendry, Mike Santana, champion, cool, looking at each other, the same way we had Trick and Mike Tease. I kind of want to see the champion versus champion, TNA versus NXT with Mike Santana, if he's still champion, or Mike Santana capturing the NXT title. Let's face it, they will. The Garden is the Garden. That's right, Midwest Crisis. That's right. The Garden is the Garden. That's right. Oh, they're my parking. If you know what that means, you know what that means. Ponce, oh, my parking. The Garden is the Garden, and the rest is just a venue. Yeah, absolutely. Chris, I'm excited to see that for this Tuesday, bro.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it. They're gonna. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be here watching it. On the watch along, they're gonna be in a crowd that's not the Performance Center, and I always like that for NXT. So I'm excited for Santana, and it's gonna be a good match. I don't like Dark State, but I like ODM. I like I like those boys, man. They're good dudes. They seem like good dudes. I know you know them briefly,
I
so
I I am very. I'm a big fan of OTM Bronco. My interactions when he was doing security intel before we went into the performance center, very nice, very respectful,
yeah.
very cool. My wife, checking her purse, and we always had conversation. Very cordial, respectful kid. To me, awesome, a hell of a brother. He has his little brother, used to be at the performance
Mm,
center. His brother plays little league baseball, is always there. He's really good best
yeah.
friends with his brother outside of the wrestling business. You see him all over the little league, and for that's why I get behind people like that. Real people, love humbleness. That's why I become a big fan of those type of people, those wrestlers, and get behind them, and what they do outside when the cameras are on. To me, I get the privilege to see them
Yeah.
around Orlando, and that's why I'm a big fan of Bronco and his family and all that stuff. So yeah, I can't wait, and he's gonna team up with one of our favorites. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, that's a win-win situation. We got a 6-man tag. I'm trying to look at the card. Los Americanos is going to take on the Vanity Project, I believe, at Madison Square Garden, if I'm not mistaken.
Ooh,
Or
okay.
no, that happened in. I'm trying to find the updated card. I apologize. That was in Houston, but I thought the Americanos are number one contenders. They're going into the tournament. That's what it was. They're
Okay.
going into the tournament on Madison Square Garden to be the number one contenders of the tag team for Swipe Right or for Vanity Project's title. I don't know if the Americanos go to Stand and Deliver. This is the go home show before Stand and Deliver, so we'll see where a lot of implications there. Kendall Gray wants a title shot at JC Jane's title, which kind of feels like Kendall Gray might be winning that title from JC Jane. A little bit too soon to be pushing Kendall Gray.
No. If they're gonna send some people up soon in the right after WrestleMania season, maybe it's not a bad thing. No, but I don't know. I don't watch Evolve, so I don't really know what's going on down there. But yeah, I don't see why not. I think people are resonating with her from the couple of times that she's been on NXT, so I think it's time.
She takes on Lola Vice, number one contenders at Madison Square Garden. Lola Vice versus Kendall Gray. I can't.
Bendito, fucking Lola Vice isn't gonna win that.
I
She's
has to-
always in number one contenders matches and championship matches, and she never wins. We talk about this all the time. That's one of my frustrations with NXT. And it's not even because of that I like her. It's bias and all that. It's like she's been around for so long. She's clearly good. Like I don't know what's wrong with I don't know. How long have I been saying she should be the North American champion?
You've been saying for a while, yes. Lola's come a while from that promo when she started crying and wiggling her hips when her first title run, which that was a little bit. We were disconnected.
Right. Yeah.
Her mother was pregnant with her black belt, and she did something along the lines that she started crying and wiggling her hips, but she was too busy shaking her ass and crying. It was a little bit of disconnect, a little cringy-ish for Lola. Yeah. But I gotta say this: this is why reps matter. Getting in the ring matters. Her work in AAA Mexico, part of AAA, going down there, being mixed tag team champion, working with Miss Iguana, going through the fire, La Toxicas, has helped Lola Vice. They put her through the ringer. They were rough with her.
I'm sure Priest has given her a few pointers here and there, like behind the scenes, because
I'm pretty sure he given him more than a 1 pointer or two.
Oh, of course, but he's a lucky fucking dude. Let me tell you that. But no, in a serious note, he when he went to NXT, he was in the same boat, and then he got to them. They found him in the main roster. Thank God Bad Bunny came around, and he eventually made his way up to where he is now. So I think she has good people around her. She has Priest. She works with Mr. Iguana. I think it's funny when they try to act like they hate each other on the internet, but they're probably both giving her some good advice on how to come up. And I think now just give her a freaking title to see what she could do. Dude, we know how they didn't keep it on long for Tatum Paxley. Come on. I think Lola should have got the Tatum Paxley treatment. Now, granted, Tatum Paxley and Izzy Dame, I loved their steel cage match when they were in Houston. Nothing, I'm not taking away from that, but I want to see Lola in a situation like that. Now, my question is Now, Izzy Dame gave Tatum that magic. They kind of, helped each other out. Who's that person for Lola?
Maybe Kendall. Could
Alani?
Kendall give?
Or okay, no,
I think Kendall here
okay.
on Tuesday.
Kendall? Okay,
I think Kendall this Tuesday. This Tuesday, I would like to see Lola Vice beat Kendall Gray. And Kendall Gray, you always could get the Iron Survivor because she did a good job at the Iron Survivor for Kendall Gray. And you also got Heatwave. I don't think they're going to bring Lola up yet. I think Lola Vice is going to be a star in the main roster. I think she will translate better than Sol Ruca. Say that again. I like that. I think so too. One thing that, and we'll talk about, we'll transition right into Sol Ruca. Sol Ruca got booed from the Performance Center crowd when Zarya came out. And I've been saying that for the longest, Chris. How long? I've been a year about that first the heel turn and how selfish Sol Ruca has been in holding back Zarya. And it came out to fruition on the promo on Tuesday night.
Yeah, no, I think that they did it a little too late.
You might be right.
Ruka. I think maybe now, like, again, the way I've been saying for Lola, you've been saying for this fucking heel turn over a year, and it was okay. It's an interesting, obviously, friendship divorce, but I think it's just Zarya's gonna win and Sol Ruca is gonna go up to SmackDown.
I think so as well.
And then hopefully Zarya gets built up and she gets a title run down in the future.
Yeah, I think I would like to see Zarya take the title off of Kendall Gray, or after Lola's run, if Lola gets a title run, or even off of Lola, and then Kendall Gray at the end of towards October Iron Survivor takes the title from Zarya, and then Zarya by then should be should we bring her up to the main roster in January for either SmackDown, Raw, whatever the case is, Royal Rumble for Zarya. I don't know, that could kind of be an interesting timetable along the lines. I was surprised that the Performance Center booed Sol Ruca. It's like, oh, you know what? I was very surprised with that.
Yeah, I am too.
Lola's 27 years old. Yeah, Lola's bought in from Bellator. 5-0 at the Bellator. I believe undefeated in the underground. She's a badass. She's a true badass. Valerie Lorena.
She's like a little DeVille. Like how do I explain it? Like Sonya, I think had more of a. Oh, sorry, I touched the button on my mic. I think Sonya had a little more buzz and had a little more of a run, but I think they're around the same boat. And I like Lola. Yo, the
going on, Jeffrey
title slap bands. I saw a TikTok, Jeffrey Jordan about that. It's you go to Walmart with like the toy, with the sports card sections, all that. They have like these like the slap-on bracelet. So you slap them on with your wrist, and it's all championship. So it's like the United States, the Intercontinental, and they're freaking cool. A buddy of mine actually bought a few of them to put on the action figures.
Nice.
So yeah, that's funny. That's funny that you brought that up because I saw a TikTok about that earlier. That's funny. Shout out to you, Jeffrey.
Jeffrey, what's going on, man? Happy Saturday afternoon to you, man. Appreciate you. Hey, we got it also next week at Madison Square Garden. Tatum Paxley is going to take on Blake Monroe. I love the vignettes where Blake Monroe was in a hotel by the airport. I know that's the hotel in the airport that she was at bubble bathing, and Tatum Paxley and Shiloh Hill knew exactly where it was with the, my creepiness. Maybe Shiloh Hill should use that to find out when people say negative things about them at the on X to go kick their ass.
Shiloh Hill,
but he's trying to get over with the company with the TV brand and with the backstage vignette.
Bars, isn't that already him getting over enough?
I don't know if he does.
Oh, you don't know if he does? Oh, okay.
I don't know if he does. That's one guy I don't know. But all in all, Tatum Paxley is going to lead up to Blake Monroe. I don't think Blake Monroe leaves North American champion. I think Tatum defends it. I mean, you're really going to make her drop the title again that quickly? She's going to be the queen of interim?
She's always been the queen of it. Yeah, maybe. I don't know, man. I think I might have to agree with you. I don't know.
I don't think so. Something's going to happen, disqualification or something that's going to move over. I'm going to agree with you. Tatum and Charlo make a nice pairing together. Yeah. If they could find one more person for they could go up against the Culling will be great. Someone naturally
on the male side?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't have that. They were getting it back then. They were doing a dark Dante Chen with the white paint and all that when he was teaming up with Boa, but that's out of the picture. It would have been something along those lines, or bring in a wrestler that we don't know that just comes in weird painted, dark, or like, oh damn, big menacing guy, and you team him up with Tatum's something. I could come up with a nice name, but I can't think about it right now for them as a group. We'll really make it work. Speaking of something that might work, where we're going to see a big Haas match. I don't know if New York City is a big city that names it twice. I don't know if they could contain this battle where you have to have a special guest referee in Josh Briggs. He will be the referee against the monster, Jasper Troy, taking on Keanu Carver. This is going to be chaos galore. I say to this is a stand and deliver match. Why are we giving it? I know you got us to Square Garden, the Mecca, but you have a PLE the following Saturday. Why?
I agree.
Why?
Jasper Troy, Keanu Carver, and Josh Briggs is the ref. Yeah,
that should have been a stand and deliver.
Stand and deliver match. Maybe a triple threat between those three at stand and deliver. Josh Briggs gets himself involved with somebody.
I like what you're thinking. I like what you're throwing, but then they have to be in a fucking cage. I don't know if we have had triple threats in cages. I don't know if they have a triple threat in a cage, but man, because nobody wants to referee it. The storyline is no one was and Josh wants television time. He wants television time. He wants opportunities, and no one. And then he overheard Robert Stone and Adrian Butler, the referee, says no one wants to officiate Keanu Carver matches, and the kid and then he volunteered. I kind of like where we went with that. They tied in that story beautifully. They tied that story within the thread of the show, and I liked it. And I'm looking forward. I'm invested to see Josh Briggs as the authority figure there in the ring with these two monsters. I hope. I hope this match gets thrown out where it doesn't even start. It sucks for Madison Square Garden. I kind of wanted that stand and deliver. We'll see where that happens. We'll see how that goes for that. All in all, I thought NXT was a really good show. It was very good. It went smooth, and really, Ilya LaFleur is out with an injury, so that's why he was replaced by the Americanos in the tag team tournament, number one contender, whatever, the gauntlet, and of course the gauntlet for Miles Bourne's North American title continues, and all in all, I thought NXT was a pretty smooth. For Tuesday nights, they need to start working better and starting incorporating some of these young male talents because the male were carried again by the ladies. That's the story of NXT.
That is a story. That's been the story of NXT for the last couple of years.
You could say
at least for me.
Okay, and even with Trick and stuff, and Trick and Ilya, Mello, they had their nice run, but yeah, it was always you always wanted to see the ladies wrestle because the ladies bought it. The ladies bought it from all different types. Chris, Monday Night Raw, as we're getting to the stretch here, or do you want to go SmackDown? Because I know me and you were watching Sacrifice, so not much.
Yeah,
watching
I don't really know. I I know the results, but we were doing our Sacrifice watch along, so I'll be honest, I didn't have time to watch it.
One thing that I'm seeing from the highlights, guys, we'll stay with SmackDown because we want to get more into.
We'll get that done quick because
I like Randy Orton continue the story of why Viper and his unhinging coming off the rail, wanting us to invest more in that WrestleMania with Cody Rhodes, the match with Matt Cardona to close out the show, attacking the some would say one of the worst brawls or long boring brawls to close out SmackDown. We didn't really see it to give the full opinion, just seeing the highlights. Jelly Roll got RKO. Cody Rhodes comes out. The natural progression of the pull apart. We know that we're gonna get a contract signing, or they did the contract signing, right? That was when he turned heel. That's when he did the contract. So we're not getting a contract signing with them. Now we got 3 weeks before WrestleMania comes. Cody's being violent was the correct move, but he needed to bust open Orton, which he did not. Okay, which he did not bust open Orton. Maybe they didn't want to put they didn't want to put that on television. But now, one thing that I saw, SmackDown was Jelly Roll heavy.
Dude, he was on like 3 or 4 segments. 2 backstage segments, 2 segments in the ring, or 1 in the ring, 2 backstage. I'm like, holy shit, dude! Like, what are they doing with him? Jelly Roll got the win because of Danhausen curse. Ugh. Okay, did that really happen? Wow.
Danhausen has been on fire. Regardless if you like him or don't, I got to give Danhausen his props. Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. He's a side comedy relief that I am enjoying. I have the sense of humor for Danhausen. I like it. To me, it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. He's just cursing people. And you know why it doesn't bother me? Because they're making the curses feel relevant.
At least they're doing that.
They're not making him look like a total geek.
At least they're doing that. But I like what he said on this comment too. Cody being violent was the correct move, because you don't want Cody to feel like little bro to Randy in this story going into WrestleMania.
No, you can't. You can't make him. No. Now, let me ask this question, chat. Did they advance the who was on the phone? Which I don't think is relevant.
I don't think they did. No.
I don't think it's relevant who's on that phone with Randy Orton. I don't see it's going to take away or accentuate the storyline. Maybe it might take it to another level, but if they don't go with it and it's just someone he's talking to me, it won't bother me because I'm still intrigued of watching Randy Orton versus Cody Rhodes for the Undisputed World title.
Yeah, I agree. Them doing the match alone don't really need. There's nothing they could do more or less for me not to be interested. Yeah, I figured they weren't going to do that. I did see a couple things while I was peeking back and forth between Sacrifice, obviously the Mellow thing. I saw that, but I am seeing that. Danhausen put a curse on Kit Wilson.
And let's talk about what everyone did not like about SmackDown Friday night. We're seeing the hashtag. We're seeing everything going. We had a United States challenge. I don't know, was it an open challenge or was it Nick Aldis making that match? Because it felt like Sami Zayn was bothering Nick Aldis about being at the WrestleMania card. And Nick Aldis was going to tell what they told Finn Balor. We don't have room for you. You know, remember Finn Balor wasn't able to be at the Royal Rumble. They didn't have room. They didn't have a spot for him to be in the Rumble. And Nick Aldis was trying to break the news to Sami Zayn. You might not be on the WrestleMania card, which they're doing a terrible job building the WrestleMania card with so little bit of time left. It was an open challenge. So Sami Zayn gets an open challenge to take on Carmelo Hayes. Well, we know Carmelo Hayes has been one of the main reasons. Look, people say this. This is what I got to say, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, when they say open challenge, that's WWE being lazy. That's WWE being creative lazy. I'm gonna say bullshit. For the since September, the open challenge, on everyone says how bad SmackDown is. It's not a good show. It's boring. Yada yada. That's been the most staple, consistent, entertaining matches Friday nights. No matter who's the world champion, whether it's Sami Zayn, whether it's Ilya Dragunov, whether it's Carmelo Hayes. Whoever holds that United States title and the open challenges, they all have put on great matches. What was
well, they were doing it for like 3 weeks in a row, 3 or 4 weeks in a row when they were doing it. But like, I mean, look, not all open challenges are bad. I just think when you do them for every time, I mean, it does feel like that sometimes they don't know what to do with this guy, and let's throw him an open challenge. But
it's carried the show. If you look at it in hindsight, it's carried the show.
It has.
So could you question it being a bad decision?
No, I'm not going to question it being a bad decision, but I question how is these open challenges going to lead up to something between one of these challengers and the champion?
And I know I mentioned, I retweeted about Sammy Hogan, Sammy getting in there and beating Carmelo Hayes for the United States title, which brought an uproar all over the internet. Is Sammy going to be transitional to Trick Williams?
I mean, I don't think Trick's losing or winning at WrestleMania. Not against Sami Zayn. If it was maybe Trick versus Mello, which I know some people didn't want to see that. I don't know if
I was one that didn't want to see it. I'll be honest with you. I didn't want to see it.
You were, but I saw some other people that didn't want to see it too. I had my friend from the UK didn't want to see it. I know some other people didn't want to see it too. But yes, you and a few other people that I know didn't want to see it. I agreed because I didn't think we needed it right away. Obviously that's a match that I would still like, but I agreed for the most part because we didn't need it right away. Maybe that's why they didn't do that. Maybe they want to save that, which is fine. But again, this kind of felt like I don't know what to do with Sami because you're not really tied into the world title scene anymore. Drew McIntyre is not the world champion, and it's him and Jacob.
Here's the thing.
Somewhere we got to get him the momentum going into Saudi next year if it even happens.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna elaborate. First and foremost, it's not that I want to see Carmelo versus Trick Williams. Look, those guys are movements by themselves, and they're a force when they're together. I wanted to see the Trick Mello gang together because I seen that and they work, especially for them to establish themselves on the main roster. Because going into a cold match or a match between them two, I don't know if that was going to enough build for them to be a WrestleMania kind of worthy match in 2 weeks. That's why I didn't want to see those two go at it so early because there wasn't going to be any build up to talk about their history. Now they do the Trick Mello gang together.
Who invites a husky guy to an outdoor summer wedding?
I don't know what the hell is that.
Amanda, I'm going to tell
you. That's the golf.
Because I sweat a lot, I went to Men's Warehouse and got a suit with a special pattern.
All right, there we go. I got the golf channel in the background. What's going on, Jeffrey?
They're fucking probably talking about Tiger Woods anyway.
That's exactly why I was trying to find an update on Tiger Woods. Seriously, I wanted to find out on that. Hopefully I quiet that down. What's going on? Jeffrey's in the building. So yeah, good afternoon. When I was talking about I didn't want to see them together is for that reason. Not enough time for them to build the story. Not enough time to give the essence for a WrestleMania worthy match. Now, for Sami Zayn, could this be and it's all dictating that Sami Zayn is going to get that major world title push at Saudi Arabia. But this is WWE. I find it where Sami's not a main event guy. He's an upper mid card guy. That's where he's
an upper mid card guy that will work with the main eventers.
Correct. Maybe this is where Sami turns heel. I think Sami needs to go heel where he loses the United States title. He goes off for Hinge. And yada, yada. And then we're off and running. I don't want to see Trick Williams as a babyface.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's I know he has a fan base, man. He has a fan base. That's I don't know. I don't gravitate towards him because for me, he's been the same bullshit babyface, chase it for it his entire career. And it's old. It's old. He chases the hug like nobody else. Like nobody else. Sami is all over the place and Cody's here. Like, I'm surprised he's not involved in that.
I'm going to say it even one thing further. I'm going to take this one step further. Por favor. I'm going to say it in Spanish. Please. Por favor. I don't want to see this son of a bitch, Sami Zayn, get involved in the OG bloodline. I don't need him there. I don't need him there. If we're bringing the bloodline back with the Uso, I don't need him.
You already know he's going to talk to Jey Uso, though.
And by the way, I think they left that fucking door open, excuse my language, with who took out Jey Uso before the Royal Rumble.
It's Sami. You think it's Sami Zayn?
It's Sami Zayn. Ese hijo de la gran madre is going to get involved in that shit. And that's him opening the door to cross over into the Bloodline story saga. He is going to be like a freaking white on rice, like a wedgie, cramming in between cheeks. And if you have that, please use Dude Wipes. Make sure you use Dude Wipes, our sponsor. And make sure you get clean, match ready, use. And of course, I'll show you the promo code. Dude Wipes, all capital letters, DUDES, save 20 to 59463, and they'll send you a code. And you don't have to be like Sami Zayn and wedging between cheeks. You'll be nice and clean. Chris, all serious aside, you can see that door. You can see that door opening, brother.
He's not even an OG Bloodline member. The OG Bloodline's what they have right now. I don't want to see it.
I could feel it in my bones that that's going to happen, bro.
Don't want to see
it was Solo Sokoa.
Oh, okay.
Taking out his brother. I mean, hey, it's the world of wrestling. They could make it who they want to be. Let's go to Monday Night Raw. We know that this week they're going to be in Madison Square Garden. We'll talk about the one in Boston where we had Obafemi, Brock Lesnar meet again. Obafemi going strong over Brock Lesnar. The clothesline over the top rope. Open the proper opening where Lesnar and Obafemi. Your thoughts? Do you think Brock Lesnar looks like he's going to go over in WrestleMania over Obafemi? I don't know. I know people say, "Oh, there's still 3 weeks to Brock to get his heat back or his comeuppance on Obafemi." I don't know, Chris.
I think he's gonna win at WrestleMania, Brock Lesnar. I think the match is gonna be good. I think what they're doing right now is they're having Obafemi go out there and kind of get the up one on Brock Lesnar early because he's new to the main roster and they're just trying to establish him and build him up. I think that's like an early, like, who is this guy? Kind of like an early, okay, this is what we expect for Obafemi. So I think this is what they're doing, but it's going to lead to a good match. I think there will be times in the match at WrestleMania that he'll have like a fault, like almost a 3 count, like he'll almost get the win, but he won't win.
I don't think Obafemi's going over. I could be wrong. We'll save that for
like you like to say. He'll go over without going over.
Yeah. Brock is going to win clean over Oba. It doesn't help Oba's momentum. But I don't know. Brock is winning. I mean, like, the program with Oba works for both. You're probably right. Look, did it hurt Cody Rhodes when he lost to Brock Lesnar? Because those were 1-1 apiece.
Yeah, you're right.
I didn't see it hurt him at all. I know going, after all that momentum. Let me ask this here about Monday Night Raw. I'm gonna run the card real quick. We'll pick and choose here what we're gonna talk about. Of course, we had the Roman and CM Punk where we got some physicality, but we had a Becky Lynch promo with AJ Lee.
Becky Boo Boo
setting up their Boo Boo match at WrestleMania. Honorable mentions though: Javon Evans and Grayson Waller. It's not going to do anything for storyline. Maybe Grayson Waller separating from Kofi Kingston finally, but they put on a hell of a match. I wanted to give them their flowers. I'm a big Grayson Waller fan. I got to mind my intro. I am a huge Grayson Waller fan. I think he's very underrated. The Usos versus Logan Paul and Austin Theory tag team match was a little bit of a dud. They're running it back again at Madison Square Garden, this time for a street fight. It feels like a house show being prolonged. Like they did it in the house show in Sheboygan, now they're doing it in Utica. That's what it feels like when it comes to Monday Night Raw with that match. I don't know what does that mean for WrestleMania. We'll find out Monday night. My Penta, Dominic Mysterio, we have seen Finn Balor interrupt. The reason why I'm asking you, Chris, nothing really progressed WrestleMania card on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, nothing really, except really the stuff, between Becky and AJ. That did a little bit. They've been doing this rivalry for a while. We kind of expected that this was going to be the match some way, somehow. We don't know what's going on with Seth Rollins. We have no idea really where his direction for WrestleMania is. Bayley and Lyra, when we saw them on SmackDown, well, we know what their direction is. Penta and Dom, like you mentioned, we got a little bit. It's obvious Finn and Dom are gonna have the match. So I think a little bit but again, WrestleMania, dude, is supposed to be, in reality, it is supposed to be this is supposed to be the go home show for WrestleMania. Like WrestleMania is usually April 6th, 7th, 5th in that weekend, 4th, whatever. And I think now that they have a couple more weeks, I think now this week is when we're going to get, well, this match is official, this match is official, this match is official. Because I think Monday Night Raw, we didn't get much progression on like a confirmation, but I think we got some, okay, we know, like we knew this was going to happen, but now we know, like, especially with the Dom and Finn thing.
We'll find out because they didn't really build anything. At least in SmackDown, we got immediately Sami Zayn challenger for his United States title and Trick Williams. They already made that graphic. They said, you know what? And also the non-sanctioned match between Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre. So SmackDown did add some more matches to the WrestleMania card. But hopefully now Monday Night Raw this Monday we'll get some things clear, because we know one thing that we were going to find out how clear it is. Braun Breaker's health. He was at the Performance Center being, he lives in Orlando, but he went and got checked by the medical staff at the PC to find out, if he's ready to go, if he's able to make the WrestleMania, where I could think he's going to be one of those masked man. We're going to see the masked man for Seth Rollins on Monday. And if he's clear, it'll be Brock Lesnar. I love the segment with Paul Heyman where, and calling out Seth Rollins and Rollins putting his hands on him, where Paul Heyman, if you know his backstory, his dad is an attorney and he does things legally. He put a restraining order on Rollins. Rollins is arrested. That could go both ways, Chris. Rollins could show up and Braun could attack him and they set up a match, or that's how you keep Rollins out of the WrestleMania card. He's going to be prosecuted, arrested, and that's a way of getting out. Bingo. Well done storytelling, Chris.
Yes, it is a little bit of a silly angle, but it makes perfect sense because of the way you describe it. I have nothing else to add to that. You described it perfectly. He could be written off or Braun Breaker can come back. One of the two.
Either the two, and they left themselves open for any avenue that they're going to take storyline wise.
Yep.
Perfect. Now, where does that lead LA Knight? I don't know. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal? I don't know.
Yeah. Now that Oba's actually in the match with Brock, yeah, maybe him.
I said maybe. I said, yeah. I said maybe he's a Paul Heyman guy where he teamed up with Seth and backstab Seth, and in a 6-man, fatal the 3-way match for the tag team titles with the Usos. But I don't see that happening.
After all they put LA Knight through, because
we're seeing the Usos being a little spicy or rude. With Jay, that's the threat of the night with LA Knight, where we saw the Rock's name, with the famous eyebrow on the trailer, where everyone thinks, they're foreshadowing the Rock being involved. I gotta be like Thomas from the Bible. I gotta see it to believe it. If I'm not able to see it, I'm not gonna believe it. So I don't know. And then I went to the supermarket, Chris, and I bought a carton of milk. In the back of the milk, it was missing. Have you seen Gunther? Where the fuck is Gunther? Gunther is missing. He's nowhere in sight. I say this. I would love Gunther, some way, somehow, there'll be a Paul Heyman to be bought out, I wouldn't mind Gunther and Rollins if that was going to happen, but I don't know. It's not enough time. They pigeon themselves in a hole where they don't even know what to do with Gunther. Gunther could come out and cause Brock. Obafemi wants to go over. Maybe Gunther comes out and laughs, and they set up Gunther and Brock later on. I don't know. It's hard to see where Gunther's going. I don't know what Gunther's going to do, Chris. I ran out of ideas.
I got no idea. Maybe he does do an open challenge and like a veteran comes out. I did hear somebody say that, and I kind of...
I liked it from Bully Ray.
Yeah, from Bully Ray, yeah.
I liked it from Bully Ray.
I kind of
Bully Ray made a good one.
Because that's the... I didn't really know, because, again, the Mysterio thing, I guess, was supposed to happen. He's hurt. So when I heard Bully say that on Busted Open... Okay, that makes sense.
He challenges.
He challenges like a Bully Ray, for example. Like, I'll put my one more match for WrestleMania in my career, whatever, and depending on who comes out, I think it could, be.
I think he should. I think it should be Bully Ray. He could thank the house. The wrestlers could thank him for the house. You kidding me?
Yeah.
Or even Rob Van Dam. Would love to see RVD versus, and he mentioned Rob Van Dam's name. Rob Van Dam is still active. Rob Van Dam should still go. Gunther, Rob Van Dam. People will go when you hear that, and he's from Vegas. I mean, you'll be there.
Yep.
It is. Which one of you hacks want to stay irrelevant? I can see one of you old timers. Gunther could come out on the microphone. Which one of you old timers want to stay relevant? Which one of you old timers want to make a name for themselves? Come on. I want to put you out of your misery. You're running around getting autographs in the and it's Rob Van Dam. Heck, I'll take it even further. You don't think people will go crazy if Gunther calls out someone and hopefully he doesn't rip his quads. Here comes the money. You get Shane McMahon.
Oh Lord, his little
people like him. People like him as long as he
yeah.
doesn't rip his quad. I do. I would like to see Shane McMahon.
I like Shane McMahon, but I don't know. I think it'd be funny. I think Gunther laughing at him. I think Gunther would hear the music. He would see Shane McMahon in the ring. He'd start dying laughing the way Gunther does. I would just start losing it.
And then he says, "I'm gonna get rid of the McMahon thing."
Oh, that'd be yeah.
Bro, come on! He gets on the microphone on Monday Night Raw. I get rid of the McMahon thing out of this company for good.
Okay, yeah.
Come on,
yeah,
Chris.
I like that. No, I like that. I like that. I didn't think of that. I like that.
Come on, there's always a madness to the thing.
That would definitely get a ooh from the crowd.
On Monday Night Raw after he beats Shane McMahon,
a laugh or something. I would laugh
bro.
This is the same. This is the same guy who told Bret Hart to his face that Bill Goldberg was his favorite wrestler. Like, come on. I'm not super big on Gunther like a lot of people are, but he has his moments where it's like, that is awesome. Like classic old school heel shit. Like, yeah, I like that.
Yeah, he beats Shane McMahon, and I hope you like Gunther's type of talk. When he gets on the microphone, I hope you celebrated your induction McMahon name to the Hall of Fame because I ended it last night. Bam, something along the line. I ended the name. Gunther could get his heat right back like this. People are not going to remember that he was missing all of March if he beats Shane McMahon and then he starts on the microphone and says, I erased the McMahon name from any possibly retired the McMahon name on all that there. I mean, easy stuff there. They could go for it. I don't know if Triple H has the goals, to do that, or Shane McMahon's willing to want to get in the ring. I don't know how if he's in shape. Even if it's for 3 minutes, give me 3 minutes or whatever the case is, which, something him come in and Gunther chops him and Gunther puts him to sleep. And that's, people will still go crazy when they hear, here comes the money. He comes out and does his little thing, like you said, rolling down the window. He's rolling down the window. Yeah.
His little bullshit that, my leg. And then they got to do the X. Oh, I'm waiting for it.
I would like to see that. For Gunther, open challenge. Gunther's going to challenge, or they even have to announce he's going to be on the card. Let him come out for a segment in ring gear. I want one of you hacks or something in WWE world. I want one of your hacks or something, and it's Shane McMahon answering the call, and we're off and running to the races on there. Let's talk about the main thing here. CM Punk, Roman Reigns, where the Usos got a little physical there. Punk hitting Jey Uso, and Roman Superman punching. Leading where Jey Uso, get him, Moose, get him, kind of calling the plays. Jey Uso calling the plays a little unhinged. I like it.
I can't take him serious. Unhinged Jey Uso's hilarious. Yay! He's gonna start yeeting aggressive. Oh my god. He's gonna lose a lot of fucking money if he gets rid of yeet. I'm gonna tell you that right now. No, I mean, look, it was okay. I mean, look, I think it's hilarious every time Jey Uso does something like that. But this is a story. This is a personal story. Jey Uso wants Roman to get Punk after what Punk said about their family member, especially Roman's father. So I like it. This wasn't as violent as Randy and beating up Cody, but this was revenge for Reigns attacking Punk. Punk laughing at the end was good too. I thought Roman was gonna go out there and start beating the shit out of him again. But no, I liked it. It was a strong segment. I just think Jay's hilarious. Get him.
You got one cousin that always like that, bro.
I know,
you got a
right?
cousin.
Holy shit! No, not in that fucking family. They're all like that.
This is again, and guys. I'm about to make a statement, and I always, when I do that, I always start off with an apology because it might offend people. It's gonna offend people with this statement, and this is me. I got to be honest. I got to be really who I am. I got to be Kevin, be Exports Jedi. I got to be totally transparent. In life, at least in our cultures, in Latin culture, in the Samoan culture, family is everything. No matter how much you disagree with your cousins, they're still your cousins. You still have a bond, and you're always going to hang out over friends. I don't know, and it might be different from the Caucasian culture because you guys feel a little frigid. I'm again. I told you I'm going to be honest, totally honest, because for us it's not even to be funny or practical. It's something that I observe. Us as a Latin culture, we'll take care of our elderlies, our parents to the very end. We don't put them in nursing homes.
I do it every day.
You don't put them in nursing homes, and I got to live my. We stick with them until we put them. Until God calls them. And the same thing with family. We're very family oriented, and that's realism when it comes to the Samoan family, and as well as the Latin culture. That's why this story resonates to us. I don't get when the people don't want to see the Bloodline get together. Oh, it's Triple H, and that's Solomon Monster and JD. They're two Caucasians. Again, it's not, and I'm not trying to make it a race thing, but it's their culture. I understand that. For us, it makes us as land people. I understand that because if our cousins need our help, regardless if we're not talking, and somebody's fucking around with my family, we're gonna go and stop anything we do, and we're gonna go defend our family. Sangre, blood.
Yeah,
that's why the storyline resonates. I want you to understand where I'm coming from.
Absolutely,
where I'm coming from. This is why in wrestling. They say when they blur the line for realism, we get it. That's why we resonated with Mike Santana growing up and saying nothing comes good out of the Bronx. Look, he's a world champion. Born and raised in the Bronx. That's why we're trying to give you my opinion from what we live. Night in, night out as a Latino, as a person, and as a non-Caucasian male. When it comes to the wrestling, when I see the Usos getting back together and watching their cousin excel, I think we all want to see that older, there is something about I had the privilege to be the oldest cousin on my grandfather's side, and I got to set example for my cousins.
I am the oldest I am the oldest too on my cousins,
and it's a burden because you got to sometimes forget that your people look exactly at you, and I don't understand why they don't want this Roman Reigns family together. No matter what, their family. You're born into it. You protect your family, and that's what I see with Jay and Jimmy Uso and Roman Reigns. I don't get why they don't want, that's Triple H being lazy with the rehashing. No, that's realism. Because you know what? At the end of the day, they're your familia. They're your family. Not this makeshift friends and happy-go-lucky. No. I don't get it, Chris. And I know it's not an unpopular opinion. I apologize if I'm offending. I don't mean to offend and I don't want to make this about race, but I'm trying to tell you where we see it from our lens as a Latino. As a minority, how I see it, and when they're playing on in wrestling.
I mean, I have nothing else to add. I would just say if you're not familiar with the Samoan dynasty, go look up how fucking tight those people are. Because, dude, especially Rikishi. Like, I remember Rikishi, him and Yoko weren't really fucking with each other at some point, and Rikishi needed money to fix his house or something, and Yoko wrote him a check, no problem. They're very, very close. They share, they're very open about that stuff. That's why I know that. I've heard him say it on podcast, on the Yokozuna documentary, on WWE 24 with Yoko or whatever it was. So yeah, they're tight. But I think again, if you're close with your family, like myself and Kev we're close with our families. You could relate to it really, really well. Relate to it. So they're doing a good job. And again, I think the OG, taking that aside for a second, I think the OG Bloodline has done their own shit for long enough that this makes sense for them to come back. They're coming back because of, the Wild Samoans not being there. He talks about them. Punk talked about them. So
you said you were going to bury him next to his dead father. You said you were going to bury him. They're like, what you said about my tío? That's exactly what you said about my uncle. What? What you got my uncle's mouth in your mouth? I don't give a shit if you got a problem with my cousin. That's y'all can take care of it. Y'all men. Y'all take care of it. But like Jimmy said, my uncle doesn't have a voice in this situation. I resonate to that. Where is the grass that Solomon Monster and JD don't get it? And I'm calling them out because they're the ones that they have a big voice that amplifies. And a lot of people are small-minded and they become parrots and they get influenced by their thoughts. I just want you guys to be an island of relevance of your own thoughts.
I agree, man. I agree. And look, you can, like I always said, have your own thoughts. It's okay to listen to people and, oh, he said something that I can resonate with or vice versa. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and that's all. That's exactly what that's all I want. I don't want you guys to repeat my stuff. You could repeat it. I'll be flattered. I'll be flattered and I'll be, happy. But I want you to have your opinion. I want everyone that takes their wrestling thoughts in your opinion. We may not agree to disagree. I don't agree certain things and with certain things and vice versa. I love that. That's what makes great debate and great conversation. That's all. And I'm not saying their opinions are wrong, but I want you to see where we, and I mean Salamonster and JD. Because I've said this many times, I would love to have a conversation and share a platform and speak with JD and both of them, because it's not about insulting and fighting and arguing. No, it's just having a wrestling talk. See whether we can hear our point of view and then we can hear their point of view, vice versa.
No. And I'm a fan of JD. I've been watching JD since he was covering fucking Black and Gold.
And it's not an attack on. It's not an attack on them. They do great.
I've been watching JD for like 8 years now. Like it's. I would like to talk to the guy. I watch his stuff every day.
We watch his stuff. We understand. We understand.
I'm actually on the top 5% of JD from NYC viewers.
Right. We understand that he has a passion and a thought process, but we have our as well.
Yeah. And I just say that we're not hating on him because we listen to him. We're fans.
It's not an attack on his, because he's entitled to his opinion. But we are also. But we're not going to say the negative names, because we have a difference of opinion. That's the only difference. We're not going to attack you and say because you have a difference of opinion, you're X, Y, and Z. No, we agree, but this is the reason why we disagree. We're showing you the work on the long form of the division equation of why we feel the way we feel. That's all. With that said, Chris, we have anything to add here?
No, I have nothing else to add. This was a good show, really TNA heavy. Getting closer to WrestleMania. We'll be live for our watch alongs. I'll be live on my normal time this Wednesday after Dynamite. Getting ready for Dynasty. Again, we'll be here for the watch alongs this week on the Rumble. I got nothing else, man. Hope if you're watching March Madness, MLB, opening weekend. And if you're watching Izzy fight tonight, have fun.
Yes, and
I'm
also
gonna go to the lanes tonight and watch some March Madness.
Also, we've got some upcoming interviews in the works. Hopefully, we get some confirmation and we're able to bring that there. Very excited if the confirmation goes through. And also, speaking of invitations and confirmation, Tony Khan accepts an invite to Jonathan Coachman and Russo's podcast. Interesting.
Cannot wait.
What he answers, will Coachman ask these questions to Khan and will Khan answer it?
Ask these questions. I'm more interested in Vince Russo and Tony having the conversation.
Interesting.
Vince is the writer. Think about it. He's the one. You need writers, bro. What are we doing?
That's a good step. That's a good step for Tony Khan.
And bro, did you see him and Scott D'Amore shake hands yesterday?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Maybe maturity.
The mark in me, the pro wrestling mark in me, was very happy to see that. Hopefully, hey, you wanna run some creative on Dynamite, dude? Give Scott D'Amore, Vince Russo running Dynamite, even just for a year.
Look, I'd rather have them than Will Washington. With that said, guys, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Don't forget, we want to shout out our partners, our friends. Aaron Loves Wrestling. Appreciate you guys. Thank you, everyone in the chat. Marie Shadows at the Square Circle. Yes. Of course, Hello Media, Samuel Lyons and friends. PUWF. They have a show tonight on the Rican Reaction on the podcast of Unappreciative Wrestling Fans tonight at 9:00. Of course, they always get their roundtable discussion. Don't forget Midfit Nation with Krishan Deshawn. Of course, our guys on Wrestle Soup and Friendos, Jeff Lippman. Wrestling with Tapas. Appreciate everyone. Of course, our guy Katie from BodySlam.net, who is going to interview Killer Kelly as well as Marlon Reed. You please support every one of them. If you're on my YouTube algorithm, please Chair Shot Wrestling as well. All the folks on our Instagram that retweets, re-like. Appreciate you guys. Haas, we got to get you on, man. We send you those invites. Who else? Let's go.
My buddy Bob. My buddy Bob from Red. If you're a Steelers fan, you guys know I'm a Steelers fan. I talk Steelers ball. My buddy Bob Quinn, he lives in Jacksonville. His channel is called Red Hot Steelers Takes. We did an episode yesterday. Talked about some Steelers ball. Might do another one here in the upcoming week or two. Go check him out. He's a good dude. Likes AEW. He supports the channel, follows the channel. His daughter and him share a bond over AEW, him living in Jacksonville. He likes WWE too, but he's a big wrestling fan as well. He watches when he can. So shout out to Bob. Good conversation for Steelers ball yesterday, and hopefully in the next few weeks something happens that we can get going here. But thanks for subscribing to the channel, and shout out for being an AEW fan, man. Appreciate it.
Of course, Chair Sports Housing. Also, our guy AO Productions. I wanted to give you guys Dr. Gina Passon. Of course, she does the wrestling tapas on Wrestling Soup and Friendos with Jeff Lipman on that platform. Of course, Dragonfly Jones on bodyslam.net. Of course, that Knuckle Bruce. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, of course. And our guy, appreciate everyone from Sleeper Sports. Want to give you guys everybody. Don't forget J-Star and friends. J-Star and what's the other? Ty. Thank you so much. I keep forgetting Ty's name. Appreciate you guys. Everyone there, we want to thank you guys because you guys make the show. And love the collaboration. Hopefully we get Canary back soon. We saw her in the chat. And of course our guy Chef Dan, man. We appreciate you guys thinking of everyone.
Chef Dan.
All right, and Rain. Don't forget Rain. We're thinking.
Rain, shout out to Rain. She commented on my Instagram. So shout out to Rain. Yes, shout out to Rain. She'll be back on the watch along soon. She said on my Instagram. So
good, very good.
Hopefully everything's good with you, Rain. Thank you for still tuning in and saying what's up.
And of course, those Evos, that's Jeff Lipman. Follow them. All that's on a video on X, so you can follow them. Follow them on X. Let's continue to grow the community. Buenas noches, buenas tardes, may Dios te bendiga. We'll see you next time here on the Sports Jedi Network. May the sports be with you.